Chapter 338. Lu Yuan's lips curled into a smile as he listened to the system's voice in his head. He looked around, and everything in front of him entered his eyes. Lu Yuan and the rest were in a valley. The four sides were high, while the middle was low. Lu Yuan and the rest had come down from the top of the valley. The cliffs around the valley were very steep. They had flown down earlier. For titled Douluo, flying was a very simple thing. Lu Yuan naturally released his martial soul and used his dragon wings. Zhu Zhuqing was in Lu Yuan's arms again. She couldn't help it. Who asked her to not know how to fly? There was a strange hot spring in the valley. Half of it was milky white, while the other half was vermilion. They were distributed in the shape of a Tai Chi symbol. However, they weren't completely in the shape of a Tai Chi yin-yang fish. There was a water hole in the middle, where two different types of spring water intersected. There was a strange plant growing in the middle of the milky white spring water and the vermilion spring water. One of them was icy blue, and its leaves were very strange. It had 8 protruding leaves, and its aura of ice was very thick. The other plant was fiery red, and exuded immense heat. Star anise mysterious ice grass, blazing delicate apricot. Lu Yuan muttered to himself. What? Lu Yuan, what are you talking about? Zhu Zhuqing was a little confused when she heard Lu Yuan's words. It's nothing. I was just saying the names of the 2 herbs, Lu Yuan said with a smile. The icefire yin-yang well lives up to its name. It's indeed rich in medicinal herbs. Lu Yuan nodded as he looked at the dense and unusually rich medicinal herbs around him. Not only did he discover the delicate silk immortal, piercing autumn dew, yearning heartbroken red, and other immortal herbs, but he also saw many other precious medicinal herbs. Every single one of them was quite old, and they were very effective. However, Lu Yuan furrowed his brow as he sensed the extreme cold and heat around him. The extreme cold and heat around the icefire yin-yang well were very violent. It was fine if one didn't stay for long. However, if one stayed for too long, one's body might explode. Lu Yuan was still fine. After all, his physique was strong. However, Zhu Zhuqing was clearly feeling uncomfortable. Zhuqing, do you feel uncomfortable? Lu Yuan asked. Yeah, I feel like there are 2 forces tearing at each other in my body. I feel like I can't breathe, Zhu Zhuqing said. Is that so? Lu Yuan nodded in response. The vast sea cosmic barrier in his hand flashed, and dazzling blue light rippled forth to enshroud everyone within. Lu Yuan didn't activate the vast sea protective barrier. Instead, he used the power of the vast sea to expel the extreme cold and extreme heat around them. The vast sea cosmic shroud had countless uses, and it wasn't just a skill, there were many other profound uses that could be explored. What about now, Zhuqing? Lu Yuan asked. I'm much better. Zhu Zhuqing nodded and replied. Yes, that's good. The extreme heat and extreme cold of the icefire yin-yang well are indeed difficult to resist. My physique is stronger, and it's not a problem. It can even be used as a form of training for my physique. However, you can't. Lu Yuan nodded his head and said. Zhu Zhuqing's head drooped when she heard this. It seemed like she wasn't strong enough. Don't think too much. Your strength will soar again very soon. The herbs around here are a huge opportunity, Lu Yuan said. Herbs? Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan in surprise. Yes. Not only are there many precious herbs here, but there are also more than 10 immortal herbs. These immortal herbs can greatly increase one's soul power. They can also consolidate one's foundation and strengthen one's physique. Although they're definitely inferior to the life spirit crystal, they're still extremely rare treasures. Most importantly, they're quite useful in increasing one's soul power. They're not like the life spirit crystal, which is used to strengthen and transform one's body and martial soul. Increasing one's soul power is only a side effect. If you consume one of these immortal herbs, you should be able to break through to become a soul ancestor. Zhu Zhuqing was now at rank 38. She would definitely be able to break through to become a soul ancestor if she consumed any of these immortal herbs. Really? Zhu Zhuqing was a little surprised as she looked at Lu Yuan. Of course. When have I ever lied to you? Lu Yuan said. Never, Zhu Zhuqing said. It's good that you know. Once I'm done with some things, I'll gather these immortal herbs. I'll help you increase your strength then. Lu Yuan smiled. Okay. Zhu Zhuqing nodded her head vigorously. Her face was full of radiant smiles. Elder Long, go and capture Douluo. This icefire yin-yang well can conceal one's aura. I'm afraid he won't be able to sense our arrival. Lu Yuan said. Yes, master. Long Xiaoyaro nodded his head. Zhuqing, come, let's take a look at the immortal herbs around here. Lu Yuan smiled. Lu Yuan held Zhu Zhuqing's hand with one hand and the vast sea cosmic shroud with the other. He searched for the immortal herbs around him. Daffodil jade flesh bone. Both Zhuqing and senior sister will need this. Beautiful silk tulip. I can give it to Ning Rongrong. The 7 treasures glazed sect will be a step further. Piercing autumn dew. This herb is useful to me. Perhaps it can further develop my jewel pupils and increase my spiritual power. I'll remember it for now. Singular velvet sky connecting chrysanthemum. This herb is suitable for assault-type soul masters. Of course, it'll also be very useful for the chrysanthemum Douluo. Earth dragon golden melon. This seems to be useful to me too. It's quite suitable for my golden dragon bloodline. Serene snow exquisite ganoderma. This herb has mild medicinal effects. Cher should be able to use it. Brilliant gold mysterious sun herb and serene snow exquisite ganoderma complement each other. Cher will also need this. I'll remember it for now. After taking a look around, Lu Yuan had basically memorized all of the immortal herbs, and he had a rough idea of which ones were suitable for whom. Lu Yuan took a look around, and Zhu Zhuqing also took a look around. It had to be said that her horizons had truly been broadened. There were so many immortal herbs here, but she didn't recognize a single one of them. However, this rascal before her was very familiar with all of them. This rascal really knew a lot. Zhu Zhuqing was appraising Lu Yuan with a look of intense love in her eyes. Not only was Lu Yuan extraordinarily powerful and astonishingly talented, he was also extremely knowledgeable. Not only did he possess extremely high attainments in martial soul research, he was also able to recognize all of these rare and exotic herbs. He even knew how to refine long-lost soul tools, so what didn't he know? This man really was far too exceptional, and Zhu Zhuqing was feeling very proud of him. After all, this was her man. It's here. Lu Yuan suddenly said. What's here? Zhu Zhuqing was a little puzzled. Just as Zhu Zhuqing finished speaking, there was a loud bang. An old man dressed in a green robe, and even his hair was green, landed not far from the two of them. Instantly, dust flew everywhere. Seeing that familiar figure, Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Senior Douluo, we meet again. Chapter 339. Elder Douluo, we meet again. Lu Yuan looked down at Douluo, who was sprawled on the ground. There was a faint smile in his voice. To be honest, he didn't expect Long Xiaoyaro to throw him down from the sky. Douluo must have suffered quite a lot from the deep crater on the ground. However, he should be fine since he was a titled Douluo. A titled Douluo shouldn't be this weak. Long Xiaoyao's figure slowly descended, and he stood not far from Lu Yuan. He didn't have a good impression of Douluo. After all, Douluo had tried to make a move against his master. That was why Long Xiaoyaro captured Douluo the moment he found him. He sealed Douluo's soul power and flew him here before throwing him down from the sky. After all, his master had ordered him to capture him. He didn't go against his master's wishes. Cough cough. Douluo coughed a few times and spat out the dust in his mouth. He had no choice. His soul power had been sealed by Long Xiaoyaro, and he had also fallen from such a height. Even though he was a titled Douluo and was fine, he still ate a mouthful of dust. After spitting out the dust in his mouth, Douluo climbed to his feet and dusted off the dust and dirt on his clothes. Douluo looked at the tall and handsome youth in front of him with a complicated expression. It's you. Douluo recognized him immediately. Wasn't this the Lu Yuan who had wreaked havoc in the Heaven Do Imperial Academy 2 years ago? Didn't he leave Heaven Do Imperial City? Why is he back? Why is he here to find trouble with me? When he thought about how he had been captured by Long Xiaoyaro and had his soul power sealed, Douluo felt a sense of helplessness in his heart. The difference between him and Long Xiaoyaro was like the difference between a soul master and an ordinary person. It was like the difference between heaven and earth, and Douluo couldn't retaliate at all. It's me. We haven't seen each other for 2 years. How are you, Elder Douluo? Lu Yuan laughed. Look at this old man. Is he all right or not? He was a titled Douluo, but he had been thrown down from the sky like a chicken. Given Douluo's temper, he couldn't tolerate it. Therefore, his tone was very aggressive. If it weren't for the fact that his soul power was sealed, he would have already fought with his life on the line. After all, Douluo's temper was very strange, and he wasn't really afraid of death. Watch your tone, Long Xiaoyaro said plainly. In his opinion, Douluo was just a rank 91 titled Douluo. He was just one of the weakest titled Douluo. How dare he speak to his master like that? It's all right, Elder Long. After all, we are the ones who invited them here. It's important to give them some face. Besides, it's normal for him to have a bit of a temper after being thrown to the ground like this, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Me. Douluo snorted and said, Brat, even though I'm far from being a match for the Dragon Emperor Douluo beside you, I'm not someone who can be humiliated by anyone. If you want to humiliate me, why don't you just kill me? See if I'll even frown. I have no enmity with Senior Douluo. Why would I want to kill you? Since Elder Long invited you here, he naturally has something important to discuss with Senior Douluo, Lu Yuan said. Is this how you invite someone? Douluo snorted. Haha, Elder Long is in the wrong. I apologize on his behalf. Elder Long, release Senior Douluo's soul power, Lu Yuan said. Yes, my lord. Long Xiaoyaro nodded and patted Douluo's body. Instantly, the soul power seal on Douluo's body was released. Douluo immediately became a titled Douluo again. As he sensed that his body was filled with soul power again, Douluo nodded in satisfaction. The feeling of having his soul power sealed and being powerless wasn't a good feeling. Even though he was a titled Douluo, he was known for his poison. He walked the path of control. His physical body wasn't considered strong among titled Douluo. If his soul power was sealed, he wouldn't even be able to defeat Lu Yuan. Even though he wasn't completely powerless, any soul sage could beat him up. He wasn't like Tang Hao, who focused on strength. In the original novel, he didn't need to use his martial soul. He could beat Zhao Wuji up with just his physical strength. Douluo couldn't do that. His physical body was weaker than others of the same level. Why are you looking for me? Douluo asked. It's like this. I want to establish an organization in Heaven Do Imperial City. I want to invite Senior Douluo to join me, Lu Yuan said. Join an organization? I'm used to being alone. I don't like to join any organization. You've found the wrong person. Douluo rejected him on the spot. Senior Douluo, don't be so quick to reject me. I'm inviting you to join me. I'm sincere. Lu Yuan said. Oh, I want to see what kind of sincerity you have to move me. Douluo was a little amused. He wasn't the kind of person who was obsessed with power. It wasn't that easy to rope him in. I'll help you remove the poison in your body. I'll also remove the poison in your granddaughter, Douluo Yang. Do you think that's sincere enough? Lu Yuan laughed. What did you say? Douluo's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with shock. How did this brat know that he was poisoned? Are you telling the truth? Douluo hurriedly asked. Of course I'm telling the truth. I never lie. If I'm not wrong, Senior Douluo's illness is already incurable. It's only because of the extreme cold and extreme heat of the Icefire Yin-Yang well that you're still alive. However, the truth is that the poison in your body is already very serious. Every time it's cloudy and rainy, your ribs will become numb and itchy. Furthermore, it will gradually become stronger. It will act up once at noon and once at midnight. Each time, it will last for more than 2 hours. Furthermore, every night, you'll feel a piercing pain from the top of your head and the soles of your feet. Your entire body will convulse for at least an hour. This kind of feeling isn't worse than death, but it's definitely not pleasant. Senior Douluo, you must be in pain while you're alive. That's why you're not afraid of death at all. How do you know? You can see this old man's illness with just your eyes. Douluo's eyes were filled with disbelief. This young man had actually described his illness word for word. Could it be that he could really remove the poison in his body? This kind of poison is nothing to me. I'm an alchemist. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. When he was looking for the immortal herbs, the system had already given him the reward. The contents of the complete alchemy solution had already been deeply engraved in his mind. Although he didn't have any practical experience, he had personally refined pills before. However, Lu Yuan was very clear about these theoretical problems. Even Tang San, a mere outer sect disciple of the Tang sect, was able to see through the illness, not to mention him, who had integrated the entire contents of the complete pill comprehension. How could a sect that was stuck in a low-level martial arts world, researching mere poisons and harming people, be compared to an alchemist in a fantasy world? They were not even on the same level. Chapter 340. Not only did the complete pill Dao record all kinds of pill recipes and endless amounts of medicinal herbs, it also contained a lot of medical knowledge. After all, every alchemist was a divine physician. After all, doctors might not know how to refine pills, but alchemists definitely knew how to treat illnesses. There was a lot of content in the complete pill Dao. Even with Lu Yuan's current spiritual power, he still felt a little dizzy. Of course, it also had a lot to do with the system giving him the experience of a Class 6 soul engineer. It could be said that Lu Yuan, who had integrated the complete alchemy solution into his hands-on ability, had definitely scored full marks for his theoretical knowledge. The complete pill Dao was many times more advanced than the Tang sect's mysterious heaven treasure record. Seeing Douluo's condition was a piece of cake. Alchemist. Douluo's face revealed a trace of shock. Wasn't this an ancient legend? There were still people who knew how to do this. The only things circulating now were the soul advancement pills, which could raise the soul power of soul masters and soul grandmasters by 1 or 2 ranks. That was already the limit. There had never been an alchemist in the Douluo continent. Could it be that this kid knows how to do this? Douluo looked at Lu Yuan with a trace of inquiry in his eyes. Douluo half believed and half doubted Lu Yuan's words. After all, alchemists only existed in legends, and no one had ever seen one. However, this kid could see his illness with a glance. Even if he wasn't an alchemist, he should have some skill. Perhaps he could really get rid of the poison in his body. Senior Douluo, what do you think? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. If you can really get rid of the poison in my and Yanyan's bodies, then what's wrong with joining your organization? Douluo said. Senior Douluo is indeed straightforward. Lu Yuan chuckled and said, then please give me a day. Come here every day at this time, and I'll get rid of the poison in your body. Oh, right. I need to use the medicinal herbs here, Lu Yuan said. As long as you need it, you can use it as you wish. However, you have to be careful. There are many herbs here that I don't recognize. Don't use them wrongly. If you encounter any danger, don't blame this old man for not warning you. Douluo said. Oh, Senior Douluo, you don't have to worry about this. In this world, there really isn't any herb that I don't know. Lu Yuan's tone was flat, but it was full of confidence. He had already read through the Chrysanthemum Douluo's immortal herb collection, and now that he had read the complete pill Dao explanation, there really wasn't a single herb on the Douluo continent that he didn't recognize. Since you're so confident, that's good. This old man will leave first. Douluo waved his hand at Lu Yuan and turned to leave. With Long Xiaoyaro around, he didn't feel right. That was because Long Xiaoyaro was too strong. Douluo was always a little traumatized in front of him. After all, this was the second time Douluo had been beaten up, including today. Furthermore, since Lu Yuan had already agreed to get rid of the poison in his body, there was no need for him to stay any longer. Everything would be revealed at this time tomorrow. As she watched Douluo leave, Zhu Zhuqing asked softly, Lu Yuan, What kind of pill refiner are you? She sounded a little surprised. Since when did Lu Yuan know how to do this? Furthermore, she didn't know anything about it. Just like Chihiro Snow had said, this fellow was hiding too many things. I can only be considered half a pill refiner for now. I have full marks for theoretical knowledge of pill refinement, but I haven't practiced it in practice. However, there are a lot of medicinal herbs here, and I can use them to practice. Lu Yuan laughed. Did you lie when you told Dugu Bo that you could get rid of the poison in his body? Zhu Zhuqing blinked her big eyes. That's true. Lu Yuan caressed Zhu Zhuqing's jade-like hands and said, Dugu Bo's poison isn't difficult to get rid of. He doesn't need any pills either. Just a little bit of medicine is enough. Furthermore, his poison can't be completely removed. It can only be gathered and controlled. Once it's completely removed from his body, his abilities will be greatly affected. Is that so? Zhu Zhuqing nodded her head. Zhuqing, are you thinking that I'm a pill refiner, but I didn't tell you? Do you think that I'm hiding a lot of things from you? Lu Yuan hugged Zhu Zhuqing and asked gently. He had always been very observant. The changes in an ordinary person's expression couldn't be hidden from him, unless he pretended that he didn't see anything. Just now, although Zhu Zhuqing's expression was fleeting, it was still seen by him. Yes, but I'm not like Chihiro Snow, who wants to know everything about you. As long as you don't lie to me, and treat me well wholeheartedly, that's enough. Zhu Zhuqing said as she lay in Lu Yuan's embrace. Good, Zhuqing. Lu Yuan gently stroked Zhu Zhuqing's hair. Zhu Zhuqing was really the most sensible of his women. She also knew how to advance and retreat the most. She knew how to tie down a man's heart, and how to make a man not hate her. This was something that the other three people couldn't compare to. Chihiro Snow was very controlling and had a strong personality. She loved Lu Yuan, so she wanted to know everything about Lu Yuan. Helena didn't have any desires, and she didn't want anything else. She only wanted to be by Lu Yuan's side every day. Her love for him was the strongest, but because of this, she would sometimes neglect other things. For example, when she was in Martial Spirit City, she had occupied Lu Yuan for too long. Even the good-tempered Zhu Zhuqing was a little angry. Jiu Yuana was gentle and tender, but in fact, this was only for Lu Yuan. Under her gentle appearance, she was actually restrained and overbearing. She was a little naive and cute in love, but she wasn't weak in scheming. She had schemed against Lu Yuan more than once. In Lu Yuan's heart, Jiu Yuana was the most difficult one to deal with. She was obedient to him now, but if she knew that he had more than one woman, it might be difficult to deal with her. Moreover, she hated gods very much. If she knew that Cher was the successor chosen by the angel god, there might be a lot of unhappiness between her and Cher. Lu Yuan sometimes felt that it was a little difficult. He couldn't control himself. When he saw Jiu Yuana's beautiful face, he couldn't help but be impulsive. Now it was too late to regret, although Lu Yuan didn't regret it in his heart. Because he really did love Jiu Yuana. At this moment, he hugged Zhu Zhuqing and was very satisfied. He liked Zhu Zhuqing's personality very much. Being with Zhu Zhuqing gave him a very real feeling. She would be jealous, a little arrogant, and sometimes shy. It gave Lu Yuan a strong feeling of love. Zhuqing, there are some things that I don't tell you for my reasons. I have my difficulties, but my feelings for you are absolutely absolute. I will never lie to you, and I will treat you well for the rest of my life. Lu Yuan said softly. Chapter 341. He couldn't reveal anything about the system to anyone, at least not now. It was a secret hidden in the deepest part of his heart, and only he knew about it. For Qian Renxue, Zhu Zhuqing, and the others, Lu Yuan would not hide anything from them other than things that involved the system, such as Jiu Yuana's existence. He had to tell them sooner or later, but it wasn't time yet. He had to wait until he was confident that he could control both sides before letting them meet. Otherwise, his harem would be on fire sooner or later. Lu Yuan asked himself. It seemed that none of his girlfriends were simple. Every single one of them had a lot of trouble to overcome. Chihiro Snow was the first girl he fell in love with, and also the person he loved the most. There was no need to talk about Chihiro Snow's troubles. Annexing the Heaven Do Empire and unifying the continent were all things that Lu Yuan wanted to help Chihiro Snow accomplish. It could be said that most of what Lu Yuan was doing now was for Chihiro Snow and the Martial Soul Palace. Helena herself wasn't too troublesome, but there was some discord between her and Chihiro Snow. To be more precise, Chihiro Snow was hostile to Helena, and the relationship between the two of them needed Lu Yuan to resolve. Zhu Zhuqing was born in the Sionra Empire's imperial family, and she had an engagement with the Star Luo Empire's imperial family. Lu Yuan had to cancel this engagement, and this meant that he had to resist the pressure from both the Sionra Empire's imperial family and the Zhu family. Although Lu Yuan wasn't afraid, Jiyu Yuana was the most troublesome one. Jiyu Yuana was currently the most troublesome one. Standing with her meant that he would become the enemy of the entire God realm. Although Lu Yuan wasn't afraid, there was no doubt that this matter was very troublesome. Unknowingly, Lu Yuan did a rough calculation. There were a lot of things pressing on him, and they were all things that he had to solve. Thinking about it this way, Lu Yuan felt a sense of urgency. His strength had improved fast enough, but it was still not enough because his enemies were everywhere. He had to grow as soon as possible and have the strength to conquer everything. Kissing Zhu Zhuqing's forehead, Lu Yuan said gently, "Do you remember my words?" Zhuqing, "All right, I'll remember that." Zhu Zhuqing smiled and nodded. To her, as long as Lu Yuan loved her as much as he did now, it was enough. She did not ask for more. She was a girl who was easily satisfied. "Let's go, Zhuqing. We need to get down to business now," Lu Yuan said. "Serious business? What business?" Zhu Zhuqing asked in surprise. "Let's dig out those immortal herbs first," Lu Yuan said with a smile. "Oh." Zhu Zhuqing nodded. Lu Yuan took out the equipment that he had prepared in advance. Since they were going to the Icefire Yin-Yang well, Lu Yuan had naturally prepared the equipment to harvest and store the immortal herbs in advance. In any case, a star ring could store living things, so these immortal herbs could also survive in it. Furthermore, as long as the immortal herbs were properly preserved, they could even survive for thousands of years. Otherwise, they would not be called immortal herbs. "Zhuqing, take this vast sea cosmic shroud. I need to dig out the immortal herbs, and I have no place to store them. You need this vast sea cosmic shroud to protect you, so take it." Lu Yuan handed the vast sea cosmic shroud to Zhu Zhuqing. "But hasn't this thing already recognized you as its master?" "I can't use it," Zhu Zhuqing said. She had heard Lu Yuan mention the vast sea cosmic shroud before. After it had been modified by the clear Qi divine seed, only Lu Yuan could use it. No one else could use it. "You don't have to use it. I've already stored soul power in it. You just have to take it, and it will protect you," Lu Yuan said. "All right, I got it." Zhu Zhuqing reached out and took the vast sea cosmic shroud from Lu Yuan's hands. Lu Yuan started his work with his hands empty. 8-petal immortal orchid, black jade bamboo, coxcomb phoenix sunflower, earth dragon golden melon, 9th grade purple ganoderma, delicate silk immortal, yearning heartbroken red. He dug out all the immortal grade herbs and left their seeds one by one. Lu Yuan placed all of them together. Only the star anise mysterious icegrass and the blazing delicate apricot have not been dug out. The rest should have been dug out. Lu Yuan scanned the area with his polychoria. There shouldn't be any other immortal herbs around the Icefire Yin-Yang well. The serene snow exquisite ganoderma and the brilliant gold mysterious sungrass can be given to Xue. These two immortal herbs complement each other and are most suitable to be used together. However, the original novel didn't mention them. Lu Yuan had this thought. That's possible. After all, these two herbs aren't recorded in the Chrysanthemum Douluo's collection of immortal herbs. They were only described in the complete pill Dao analysis. Consuming the serene snow exquisite ganoderma and the bright gold mysterious sungrass at the same time can adjust the yin and yang in the body, tempering the body and soul. It's the easiest way to transform one's physique. Perhaps Xue's martial spirit will evolve because of this. Lu Yuan muttered to himself. Although the system said that the life spirit crystal was useless to him and Chihiro Snow, because their martial souls were already God tier, the life spirit crystal couldn't help them evolve to Godking tier. However, Lu Yuan realized that the system's words were true. Just because they couldn't break through to Godking tier didn't mean that the six-winged seraphim couldn't continue to transform. Just like now. Although his martial soul and bloodline were still the Golden Dragon and not the Golden Dragon King, his martial soul had already surpassed that of an average Golden Dragon. This was because his martial soul and bloodline were transforming. Since he could do it, Cher should be able to do it too. After all, there was a huge gap between a first-tier god and a god king. Even if they were both first-tier gods, there was still a gap. For example, the Golden Dragon and the Mountain Dragon King were both first-tier gods. They were much stronger than the other 7 Dragon Kings. This was especially so for the Golden Dragon. He was almost at the limit of a first-tier god. After all, first-tier gods had 7 divine halos, while god kings had 9. In between, there were 8 divine halos. Hadn't Hua Yuhao reached this level in the past? Furthermore, according to Lu Yuan's judgment, each of these 2 herbs was at least as potent as the beautiful silk tulip, and if one were to consume them at the same time, their medicinal effects would be enhanced by several-fold. At that point, even the yearning heartbroken red would most likely be inferior to them. After all, the effects of the combination of yin and yang were definitely extraordinary. It just so happened that he hadn't given anything to Schwerer before, so these 2 stalks of immortal herbs were just a small token of his appreciation. As such, he had to mark these 2 herbs carefully as they were meant for Cher. As for the rest of the herbs, Lu Yuan's gaze shifted as thoughts ran through his mind. Chapter 342. The beautiful silk tulip is for Ning Rongrong, so there's no need to say anything else. The 8-petal immortal orchid is for now, so I'll take it for now. The singular velvet heaven connecting chrysanthemum is for Ju Douluo Luo. I borrowed his immortal herb catalogue from him, so I'll take it as a return of the favor. The piercing autumn dew is for me, so I'll take it for now. The daffodil jade flesh is for Zhu Qing and senior disciple sister, but who should I give it to? Lu Yuan muttered to himself as he looked at Zhu Qing. He looked at Zhu Qing and his eyes narrowed as if he was hesitating about something. The Earth Dragon Golden Melon is for soul masters with dragon martial souls, so it's useful to me. However, it can't compare to the Star Anise Mysterious Icegrass and the delicate Inferno Apricot, so I'll give it to Dugu Yang. This Icefire Yin Yang well belongs to the dragon tribe, but Dugu Bo has stayed here for so long, so it would be far too inhumane of me not to leave anything behind. Furthermore, the jade-scaled snake is also a dragon species, so this Earth Dragon Golden Melon will perhaps be able to benefit her martial soul significantly, so I won't let Dugu bow down. With this, Dugu Yang will definitely be able to become a top-tier prodigy with a conferred title in the future. At the same time, I'll be able to earn Dugu Bo's favor and make him even more loyal to me, so this is killing 2 birds with 1 stone. In theory, this yearning heartbroken red is for everyone, but it's too precious, so I can only give it to those around me. The most suitable ones are senior disciple sister and Zhu Qing. Not only can this thing significantly enhance one's soul power, it can also significantly enhance one's physique, so it's a very rare item. Lu Yuan thought to himself. In terms of the effect of a single stalk of immortal grade, none of the immortal herbs here could compare to the yearning heartbroken red. This immortal herb was a comprehensive improvement, but it was a little difficult to pluck. In Lu Yuan's opinion, among his women, only Hu Lena and Zhu Qing could pluck it. As for Chihiro Snow, Lu Yuan wasn't confident. After all, this kind of thing required pure emotions without any impurities. Hu Lena could definitely do it. Zhu Qing wholeheartedly followed him and did not ask for anything else, so she should be able to do it. However, Chihiro Snow was too domineering and had a strong desire for control. Although he also loved Lu Yuan very much, he had a lot of thoughts, and his thoughts were a little messy. Although he did not say it out loud, he still had resentment in his heart that Lu Yuan was two-timing, so he might not be able to get rid of it. As for Jiyu Yuana, Lu Yuan automatically excluded her. The things here were useless to her, so there was no need to consider her. However, there was a problem. Between the yearning heartbroken red and the narcissus jade skin bone, which one should he give to Zhu Zhuqing and which one should he give to Hu Lena? Lu Yuan was a little conflicted. Zhu Zhuqing and Hu Lena were both his true love, so he tried his best to be fair. However, the yearning heartbroken red was obviously much better than the narcissus jade skin bone. No matter who he gave the yearning heartbroken red to, it would be unfair to the other person. This was also where Lu Yuan was hesitant. The yearning heartbroken red could improve all aspects and had a miraculous effect on tempering one's physique. If Zhu Zhuqing got it, with the help of the life spirit crystal, reaching the fourth ring in 10,000 years would not be a problem. But what about giving it to Hu Lena? Hu Lena was a spiritual type soul master, and her physical body had always been her weakness. Although her physical body had strengthened a lot after the evolution of her martial soul and the tempering of her physique, her physical body was still weak compared to her spiritual power. Therefore, this yearning heartbroken red would also have a huge effect on her physique. Then who should I give this yearning heartbroken red to? Lu Yuan frowned. Suddenly, he thought of something that he had not thought of before and made a decision. He knew who he should give this yearning heartbroken red to. He put away all the immortal herbs that he did not need into his star ring. As for those that Lu Yuan had already determined, he put them in a special place so that they would be easier to find when he needed them. What was left in Lu Yuan's hands were only two immortal herbs. One was the piercing autumn dew, and the other was the narcissus jade skin bone. Zhuqing, this narcissus jade skin bone is for you. Lu Yuan smiled and handed the narcissus jade skin bone to Zhu Zhuqing. In the end, he decided to give the yearning heartbroken red to Hu Lena. It was not that he favored Hu Lena and neglected Zhu Zhuqing, but because he thought of something. It was a 100,000-year-old right leg bone of the blue-silver emperor. As long as Zhu Zhuqing absorbed this thing, she would also have the ability to become a 10,000-year-old fourth ring. Moreover, a 100,000-year-old soul bone would be comparable to the yearning heartbroken red. This was the most perfect distribution method at the moment. Okay. As she spoke, Zhu Zhuqing took the narcissus jade skin bone from Lu Yuan. This immortal herb is called the narcissus jade skin bone. It has the function of nourishing the muscles and bones, and opening the 8 extraordinary meridians. It's quite suitable for you. Absorb it. With it, you won't have any problems breaking through to rank 40, Lu Yuan said. Oh. Zhu Zhuqing looked at the narcissus jade skin bone in front of her with a slight smile on her face. With this, her strength would be able to improve further, and she would be able to help Lu Yuan better. How do I eat this? Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan in confusion. Eat the petals first, then suck on the stamen. After that, sit cross-legged and meditate to absorb the medicinal power, Lu Yuan said. I got it. What about you? Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan. I'll eat this one. Lu Yuan pointed at the piercing autumn dew. Zhuqing, you can absorb it first. I'll ask Elder Long to protect us. Okay. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. Then, she found a clean spot and sat down cross-legged. She placed the vast sea cosmic shroud to the side and began to absorb the medicinal power according to Lu Yuan's instructions. Upon seeing this, Lu Yuan also found a place to sit down. He dripped the 2 drops of dew from the piercing autumn dew into his mouth. In the instant that the 2 drops of dew left the blade of grass, the entire blade of grass was instantly reduced to ashes. It was truly miraculous. No wonder it was called an immortal herb. As soon as the piercing autumn dew entered his stomach, it transformed into pure energy that rushed directly into Lu Yuan's mind. It transformed into the most gentle energy, which diffused toward Lu Yuan's eyes and brain. Lu Yuan's eyes were tightly shut, but he could see a golden light shining where his polychoria was, as if it was undergoing some kind of transformation. At the same time, Lu Yuan's spiritual sea was also absorbing this energy. At the same time, the clear air divine seed started to release an even more intense white light. Following the strange energy of the piercing autumn dew, it entered Lu Yuan's spiritual sea. Lu Yuan's spiritual power started to slowly strengthen. When Long Xiaoyaro saw that Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing were both consuming the medicinal power, he consciously stood to one side to protect them. He was afraid that someone would disturb them. The frenzy rhino Douluo's figure appeared not far from Long Xiaoyao. He was also patrolling and protecting Lu Yuan at the same time. There were 2 titled Douluo protecting them. No one else could receive such treatment. Chapter 343. Absorbing the immortal herb would definitely take a long time. Even for Lu Yuan, it would take some time. The sun was setting in the west, and the afterglow of the setting sun dyed the entire icefire yin-yang well a fiery red. When the sun set, the yang energy would dissipate and the yin energy would gradually form. Generally speaking, after the sun set, the temperature would obviously drop. However, this feeling was not present in the icefire yin-yang well. The entire icefire yin-yang well exuded an intense aura of extreme heat and extreme cold. Apart from plants, very few animals could survive here. The surface of Lu Yuan's body exuded a golden light, but it was only faintly discernible. This was the combination of extreme cold and extreme heat tearing at his body. However, Lu Yuan's physique was extremely strong, and he also had the bloodline of the golden dragon. Not only did this extreme cold and extreme heat not harm him at all, but it also had a tempering effect on his physique. Lu Yuan's eyes were tightly shut, but his eyes flickered with a bluish-golden light that could be seen clearly with the naked eye. That's right, it wasn't the original golden color, but bluish-golden color. After absorbing the energy of the piercing autumn dew, Lu Yuan's polychoria was further developed, and it advanced to the next level. In his spiritual sea, Lu Yuan's figure appeared. At this moment, his spiritual sea had undergone a huge change. Originally, his spiritual sea was a golden ocean below, and the white sky was above. This corresponded to the golden dragon and the clear air divine seed respectively. As for the god-slaying spear, the core area it occupied was always black. It was pure black, and nothing could get close to it. Even the clear air divine seed was just a little brother in front of the god-slaying spear. However, Lu Yuan's spiritual sea was very different now. The original golden ocean had turned bluish-golden, and it was an incomparably dazzling and gorgeous bluish-golden color. It was just like the time when the projection of the sea god had released the divine power of the vast ocean to transform Lu Yuan's spiritual sea. However, not long after, the projection of the sea god had been destroyed by the god-slaying spear. The vast ocean cosmos shield's power had been withdrawn, and the spiritual sea had gradually returned to its golden state. But today, the entire spiritual sea was dyed blue-gold, and even a corner of the white sky was torn apart. A resplendent sun emitted a dazzling light, and within the range of the sun's light, even the clear chi god seed's clear chi god power was expelled. And in the center of the blue-gold sea, there was a small island. This was also the center of the entire spiritual sea. At the top of the small island, there was a pitch-black spear that flashed with a blood-red light. It seemed that the god-slaying spear had moved here. Or rather, it shouldn't be a move. The address was still the same, but the basic facilities had been upgraded. As for the golden dragon, it was a dazzling golden dragon, and it was happily swimming in the bluish-golden seawater. As expected, there are almost no dragons that are afraid of water, Lu Yuan thought to himself. But is the fire dragon afraid of water? Lu Yuan suddenly thought of a strange idea. Shaking his head, Lu Yuan cast aside this somewhat funny idea, and walked on the surface of the bluish-golden sea. So this huge change in my spiritual sea, is it because of the autumn-piercing gaze dew or because of the polychoria? Lu Yuan muttered to himself as he looked at his spiritual sea, which had expanded by several times. It should be because of the polychoria. The autumn-piercing gaze dew doesn't have such a great effect. Only the power of the polychoria can make the clear chi god seed retreat. After all, the polychoria's power is second only to the god-slaying spear. Both of their potentials are far above the clear chi god seed, Lu Yuan thought to himself. Perhaps I've had the polychoria for so long, and I've been training my spiritual power, so the polychoria was already on the verge of evolving. Now, the autumn-piercing gaze dew has given me the final push, allowing the polychoria to completely enter the next stage, Lu Yuan guessed to himself, and he guessed the development of the situation pretty much accurately. My current spiritual power, Feeling that his spiritual concretion had become very solid, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile. Very strong. Step by step, he walked to the island in the center of his spiritual sea. Lu Yuan went straight ahead and climbed to the highest peak. Can you still counterattack me now? Lu Yuan smiled and reached out with his right hand, grabbing the black handle of the god-slaying spear. With a sudden force, the god-slaying spear was pulled out. The tip of the spear pointed to the sky, and endless power bloomed, causing the entire spiritual sea to fluctuate in an instant. His eyes suddenly opened, and the polychoria shone. 2 bluish-golden rays of light shot out, and a strong wave of spiritual power suddenly bloomed. The bluish-golden rays of light shot directly into the cliff in the distant valley. Suddenly, there was a rumbling sound, and a huge pit appeared on the cliff. It was so deep that the bottom couldn't be seen. Broken boulders continued to roll down from the cliff. Not bad power. Seeing this scene, Lu Yuan's face revealed a smile. This power was even stronger than the light of chaos. The polychoria is indeed powerful. I've only just developed a little. If I can develop the polychoria to a certain extent, my spiritual power will definitely be #1 on this continent. I'll be able to sweep through everything with my gaze. Lu Yuan sighed. The origin of the polychoria was also extraordinary, second only to the god-slaying spear. After all, Lu Yuan's god-slaying spear was only a martial soul, but the polychoria was the real deal. Although its power couldn't be compared to the god-slaying spear, it wasn't too far off. Standing up and looking at Zhu Zhuqing, who was still absorbing the medicinal power, Lu Yuan's eyes flashed with a trace of gentleness. After absorbing this medicinal plant, Zhu Zhuqing should be able to break through to the soul ancestor realm. This girl had always wanted to increase her strength so that she wouldn't be a burden to him. Now that her strength had improved so quickly, she must be very happy. Among his women, Zhu Zhuqing was currently the weakest. Her talent was also the lowest, but she was the most hardworking. Sometimes, Zhu Zhuqing's hard work made Lu Yuan's heart ache a little. Every bit of strength she had was obtained through her own hard work. Her talent wasn't as good as Chihiro Snow's. Chihiro Snow was half cultivating and half managing the country's affairs. Now, he wasn't even 18 years old and was about to break through to the Soul Emperor realm. The quality of Helena's martial soul wasn't too different from Zhu Zhuqing's, but her talent was higher. Now that she was 17 years old, she was about to become a soul king. Furthermore, Helena's cultivation speed was far from Zhu Zhuqing's. When they were in the martial soul palace, this girl never cultivated at night. She would peek at him every day, and it wasn't as if he didn't know. However, Zhu Zhuqing's soul force rank wasn't low. At 12 years old, she was rank 38. Compared to Chihiro Snow's rank at 12 years old, she was only a little bit weaker. Putting aside the fact that she had obtained the life spirit crystal, it was all because of Zhu Zhuqing's hard work. Zhu Zhuqing's passion for cultivation was something that Lu Yuan admired sometimes. Her hard work wasn't inferior to his, and even surpassed his. Chapter 344. Master. When he saw Lu Yuan stand up, Long Xiaoyaro knew that his master had finished absorbing and had made a huge breakthrough. Even Long Xiaoyaro was a little taken aback by the bluish gold light. A soul sage couldn't withstand that attack, even with his martial soul true body. Long Xiaoyaro made a judgment based on his many years of experience. That attack was definitely stronger than a soul sage's. His master was really powerful. Sure, don't disturb Zhuqing. Lu Yuan put his index finger to his lips and said softly. As he spoke, he looked at the vast sea cosmic shroud that Zhu Zhuqing had placed to one side. He waved his hand, and it flew into Lu Yuan's hand. He injected soul power into it before putting it back. After a while, the soul power he injected into it would disappear, and it would lose its effect. That was why Lu Yuan injected some more soul power into it so that it could protect Zhu Zhuqing. Elder Long, come over and talk. Lu Yuan took a few steps away to make sure that his voice wouldn't disturb Zhu Zhuqing. Of course, he didn't go far. He wouldn't let Zhu Zhuqing out of his sight. Elder Long, it's getting dark. Why don't you ask Dugu Bo to prepare some food and send it over? If the old man doesn't have anything ready, you can ask him to send some ingredients over. It's best if he can send a few more fish over. Zhu Qing loves to eat grilled fish. Yes, master. Long Xiaoyaro nodded and said, what about here? Leave this place to Elder Crazy Rhino. He's enough to protect her. You just have to go and come back quickly. Lu Yuan said. Yes, master. However, Crazy Rhino isn't your direct subordinate. He belongs to the head consecrator. You should be careful when you use him. Although the head consecrator is close to you, you should still be careful. After all, Mistress Xue is Mistress Xue, and the head consecrator is the head consecrator. Right now, the one in charge of the consecrated hall is the head consecrated, not Matriarch Xue. Furthermore, since you have already shouldered the fate of a soul beast, you have to be careful of the angel god behind the head consecrated. Long Xiaoyao's forceful voice was transmitted into Lu Yuan's ears. After all, Long Xiaoyaro was Lu Yuan's most loyal follower, and his ultimate bodyguard. Long Xiaoyaro naturally knew about Lu Yuan's relationship with soul beasts, and Lu Yuan didn't hide it from him. Anyone in this world could betray Lu Yuan, but Long Xiaoyaro, who was summoned by the system, would never do so. Hence, there was no need to hide anything from him. I know, Elder Long. Thank you for your reminder, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Since you know what's going on, I'm relieved. I'll go now. Long Xiaoyaro said. Go ahead. Lu Yuan nodded. Long Xiaoyao's figure gradually disappeared. Lu Yuan walked back and sat down not far from Zhu Zhuqing. As he stared at Zhu Zhuqing's face, he was in a daze. Long Xiaoyao's words made sense. No matter how well Sendryu treated him, it was only because he had the ability to revitalize the martial soul palace, and because he had an intimate relationship with Chihiro Snow. Besides that, he didn't have any feelings for Lu Yuan. Sendryu was a god's envoy, and he served the angel god wholeheartedly. If they really became enemies with the godly realm in the future, Chihiro Snow would definitely stand on his side, because she was already his woman. However, Sendryu wouldn't. He would only obey the orders of the angel god, because he was a god's envoy, and he would serve the angel god with all his faith. Therefore, even though his relationship with the Thousand Streams seemed to be very close now, in the end, the two sides might not be able to stand on the same side. Especially after Gu Yuena's identity was exposed, this crack would definitely appear. This was also why Lu Yuan wanted to establish his own organization. Only an organization that he controlled would be the safest. Lu Yuan still didn't trust the Hall of Consecration. If their enemies were the Martial Soul Palace's enemies, Lu Yuan believed that he and Sendryu would work together very well. However, if Lu Yuan wanted to help the soul beasts, Sendryu would probably be the first to object. As for Bibi Dong, Lu Yuan was not worried. Just like how he supported her, she would also support him. This was because they were both people who valued relationships. They would never abandon the people they cared about. This was also an important reason why Lu Yuan had stood on Bibi Dong's side from the beginning to the end. As a result, Lu Yuan could use Sendryu's man. But if it involved his own secrets, he couldn't let him know. In summary, Lu Yuan had two goals for establishing his organization. The first was to help Chihiro Snow take over the Heaven Do Empire, and then help the Martial Soul Palace unify the continent. The second was to establish a powerful force of his own. When necessary, he could use it to balance Sendryu's Hall of Consecration, and help Lu Yuan achieve his goal of liberating the common people. As for the godly realm, that wasn't something his organization could deal with. He could only rely on himself. Against the godly realm, without the fighting strength of a god, it was completely useless. Just as Lu Yuan was letting his imagination run wild, Zhu Zhuqing had finished absorbing the medicinal effects. When she opened her pitch-black eyes, she saw Lu Yuan staring at her in a daze. His brows were furrowed from time to time. Lu Yuan's expression was very serious, as if he were thinking about something. Lu Yuan's serious expression made Zhu Zhuqing's eyes light up. She loved it when Lu Yuan was serious. He was especially handsome and charming. Zhu Zhuqing secretly looked around. Long Xiaoyaro wasn't around, and the frenzy rhino Douluo was also wandering around. They didn't look in her direction. Zhu Zhuqing bit her red lips gently. After that, she took a step forward and crashed into Lu Yuan's embrace. She was so fast that Lu Yuan couldn't react in time. He was pushed to the ground by Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing's entire body was on top of Lu Yuan's. Lu Yuan immediately regained his senses. He gently pulled Zhu Zhuqing into his embrace with his right hand. He bit Zhu Zhuqing's red lips and said gently, "Little kitty, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to force yourself on me in broad daylight? Who's forcing themselves on you? Furthermore, we're not in broad daylight." Zhu Zhuqing snorted as she said. "Oh, it's already dark. We're not in broad daylight." Lu Yuan's tone carried a hint of laughter. "So you're trying to force yourself on me in broad daylight? Little kitty, who's trying to force myself on you? I'm not. I just want to hug you. If you continue to spout nonsense, I'll bite you." Zhu Zhuqing's slightly rosy face was a little shy. She clearly only wanted to squeeze into his embrace. However, she was too careless and pushed him down. Since when did she want to force herself on him? "Rascal, you really don't know what to say. How dare you talk about me like that?" Chapter 345. Okay, I won't say any more. I was just teasing you and you got angry. Lu Yuan stopped teasing Zhu Zhuqing when he saw her baring her fangs and brandishing her claws. This little kitten was still a little wild. If he angered her, she might really bite him. Who could he reason with then? After all, she was his woman and he couldn't bear to hit her. He could only pamper her. "Bitch, how can you be so funny? You actually said that I wanted to use force. Am I that kind of person?" Zhu Zhuqing laid on Lu Yuan's body and looked down at him. No, I was wrong. Okay. Lu Yuan immediately admitted his mistake. He was already used to this and didn't hesitate to admit his mistake. "That's more like it. Then I'll forgive you," Zhu Zhuqing said with a smile and pretended to be a little tsunder. Hee. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing's appearance, Lu Yuan smiled. This little kitten was a little tsunder. He hadn't seen it for a while and he actually saw it again today. It seemed like this girl was in a good mood. Otherwise, she wouldn't have taken the initiative to run into his arms. It seemed like she was in a hurry to share her joy with him, Lu Yuan thought to himself. Lu Yuan understood Zhu Zhuqing very well. She was usually cold, quiet, and a little shy. Of course, she would occasionally be a little tsunder. However, whenever she was a little tsunder, her mood would definitely be very good. This time, she must have eaten the narcissus jade flesh and improved a lot. Therefore, she was excited. Plus, Elder Long wasn't here, so this girl took the initiative to run into his arms. Lu Yuan lay on the ground and hugged Zhu Zhuqing in his arms. He gently kissed her red lips and asked, "After eating the narcissus jade flesh, you improved a lot, right?" At the mention of this, Zhu Zhuqing immediately became happy. Her big eyes were smiling as she said, "I'm now at rank 40. I only need a 4th soul ring to become a soul ancestor. Moreover, I have a feeling that after I become a soul ancestor, my strength will increase by 1 or 2 ranks. This is all because of the narcissus jade flesh. Lu Yuan, I can finally be on the same level as you. Do you know? It's really hard to keep up with your pace," Zhu Zhuqing said softly as she lay on Lu Yuan's chest. Her tone was unprecedentedly relaxed. All these years, she had been too tired to keep up with Lu Yuan's progress. "It's been hard on you, Zhuqing." Lu Yuan lovingly stroked Zhu Zhuqing's hair and pressed his cheek against Zhu Zhuqing's. A strong feeling of affection emanated from the two of them. "Zhuqing, do you want the 4th ring?" Lu Yuan asked. Yes. Without any hesitation, Zhu Zhuqing agreed. Her current physique was already very strong, and she had no problem withstanding a 7 to 8,000 year soul beast. She could even try to withstand a 9,000 year soul beast, but she wasn't confident in withstanding a 10,000 year soul beast. She wasn't the big pervert beneath her, who had a 15,000 year soul ring and a super soul beast like the dusk gold Terraclaw bear. Furthermore, the reason why this stinky fellow could achieve the 3rd ring was because he had the golden dragon martial soul, the golden dragon bloodline, the atlas palm bone, the golden dragon armor, and the help of the clear air divine power and the vast ocean power. Only then could he absorb the 15,000-year dusk gold Terraclaw bear's soul ring. If it was someone else, who would have as many opportunities as him? The third ring, the 10,000-year soul ring, was even more out of the question. She definitely couldn't compare to him. He was a true dragon from the 9 heavens. As long as she could keep up with him and not be left behind, it would be fine. This was Zhu Zhuqing's truest thought. However, what method did this stinky fellow have to let her have the 4th ring? Zhu Zhuqing was curious. She never doubted Lu Yuan's words. Since he said it, he would definitely do it. He was never a person who spoke nonsense. Lu Yuan, how are you going to let me have the ability to absorb a 10,000-year soul ring? Zhu Zhuqing asked. Do you want to know? Lu Yuan said teasingly. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. But I won't tell you now. How is it? Are you angry? Lu Yuan tilted his head and made a face. Yes, I'm really angry. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes flashed with a cold light. She gritted her teeth and said in a low voice. Die, bad guy. Zhu Zhuqing lowered her head and bit Lu Yuan's shoulder with her snow-white teeth. Hiss. Lu Yuan immediately sucked in a breath of cold air and grimaced in pain. Little kitty, you're very arrogant now. Did Cher pass her temper to you? You actually dare to bite me. Are you trying to rebel? Lu Yuan said as he pinched Zhu Zhuqing's chin and stared into her big eyes. Who asked you to make me angry? You knew that I cared a lot, but you still deliberately teased me. Zhu Zhuqing's slightly red and swollen cherry lips opened slightly. She looked at Lu Yuan with a trace of resentment. This man indeed wouldn't hit her, but he kissed her until she was almost suffocating. She had no choice but to lower her head. She also understood one thing clearly. Why did Helena never dare to lose her temper with this man? It was because as long as she lost her temper, she would immediately be suppressed by this bad guy. Not everyone was called Chihiro Snow. Moreover, even Chihiro Snow didn't seem to be able to do anything to this stinking guy. Forget it, I'll just go along with this guy. Zhu Zhuqing sighed in her heart. Oh, okay. I'm also in the wrong in this matter. Let's just forget about it. Lu Yuan smiled faintly and said, You've just reached rank 40, so you're not in a hurry to add a soul ring. Consolidate it first. When your soul power stabilizes, I'll give you a surprise. A surprise that will allow you to completely absorb a 10,000-year soul ring. What do you say? Okay, I'll listen to you. Zhu Zhuqing nodded her head obediently. That's a good girl. Lu Yuan smiled as he caressed Zhu Zhuqing's hair. Zhu Zhuqing rolled her eyes helplessly when she heard this. Lu Yuan didn't care about Zhu Zhuqing rolling her eyes. He shifted his gaze and saw Long Xiaoyao's familiar figure appear in the distance. Lu Yuan patted Zhu Zhuqing. Get up, little kitty. Elder Long is back. Ah. Zhu Zhuqing was shocked, and hurriedly got up. Lu Yuan slowly got up and patted the dust off his body. He pinched Zhu Zhuqing's face and laughed. Elder Long should have brought back some fish. I'll grill some fish for you later, okay, little kitty? Okay. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes brightened. She loved to eat Lu Yuan's grilled fish the most. Now, she finally had the chance to eat it again. Master. Long Xiaoyao landed with a huge basket in his hands. It was filled with ingredients. Master, I didn't think Douluo Bo's food was very good. That's why I didn't ask for it. I just brought some ingredients back. Long Xiaoyao said. Okay. Lu Yuan nodded his head gently. He didn't want to eat Douluo Bo's food. Who knew if it was poisonous? He didn't dare to let Zhu Zhuqing eat it. It was more reliable to cook it himself. Chapter 346. The night was getting darker. Lu Yuan and the rest had just finished their dinner. He took out a cloud silk handkerchief and wiped the grease off the corner of Zhu Zhuqing's mouth. Is the grilled fish delicious? Zhuqing? Lu Yuan smiled as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing. It's delicious. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. There was a satisfied look on her face. She loved grilled fish the most. Grilling fish beside the icefire yin-yang well was actually quite simple. All he had to do was go to the sunspring and take note of the heat. He didn't even need to start a fire. Lu Yuan quickly processed all the ingredients using the heat from the sunspring. Instantly, a fragrant aroma filled the air. After he was done, he and Zhu Zhuqing ate beside the icefire yin-yang well. Long Xiaoyao and the frenzy rhino Douluo stayed far away. Because Lu Yuan and the frenzy rhino were so intimate with each other, they couldn't stand it anymore. Out of sight, out of mind. It's good that it's delicious. Are you full? If not, I'll grill 2 more. It's very convenient anyway. Lu Yuan said. I'm full. Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan as he wiped the grease off the corner of her mouth. There was a gentle smile on her face. She liked how Lu Yuan doted on her. It's good that you're full. Since you're all done eating, I should get down to business. Lu Yuan laughed. Business? What business? Zhu Zhuqing was a little confused. After that, she blushed. Does this fellow want to do that kind of thing with me? Zhu Zhuqing was a little expectant. She had wanted to give herself to Lu Yuan for a long time. If Lu Yuan wanted her, she wouldn't reject him. However, didn't Lu Yuan say that she was too young, and that he had to wait for 2 years? Therefore, she immediately looked at Lu Yuan with a puzzled expression. There are 2 herbs that are very suitable for me. I have to find a chance to consume them. After that, I have to help Douluo Bo refine some pills to remove the poison. Lu Yuan laughed. Oh, so that's the case. Zhu Zhuqing's face was a little red, and her pretty face was a little embarrassed. She thought that Lu Yuan was going to do that kind of thing. She didn't expect that she had misunderstood. Zhu Zhuqing suddenly felt embarrassed. Fortunately, she didn't say it out loud. Then what do you think I'm going to do? Kitty, are you getting the wrong idea again? Lu Yuan's lips curled into a devilish smile as he pulled Zhu Zhuqing into his embrace. His lips parted slightly as his warm breath hit Zhu Zhuqing's face. Kitty, don't worry. Sooner or later, I'll eat you until not even your bones are left. Lu Yuan's hot breath hit Zhu Zhuqing's face, making Zhu Zhuqing's heart itch. Suddenly, Zhu Zhuqing's delicate body trembled. A certain important part of her body had been invaded by Lu Yuan. Her delicate body immediately went limp and she fell into Lu Yuan's arms, allowing him to do whatever he wanted. Little kitty, you can only sleep alone tonight. I can't accompany you. Lu Yuan pinched Zhu Zhuqing's nose and said with a smile. Star anise mysterious icegrass, blazing delicate apricot. Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed as he sized up the 2 immortal herbs in the center of the yin and yang springs. Although these 2 immortal herbs can't directly increase my soul power, the combination of the 2 immortal herbs definitely isn't inferior to the yearning heartbroken grass in terms of tempering my body. If I add the yin-yang springs effects, I might even be able to surpass it. I'm already very strong now, and my soul power is increasing very quickly. I don't need to strengthen it anymore. This enhancement to my body is what I need the most. Now that my polychoria has been further developed, and my spiritual power has also increased. The strength of my spiritual power seems to have surpassed my physique again. Lu Yuan revealed a bitter smile. Logically speaking, the strongest aspect of a golden dragon martial soul should be his physique. His spiritual power definitely couldn't keep up with the strength of his physique. However, Lu Yuan was different. His spiritual power was naturally different from ordinary people. Furthermore, he had polychoria and the clear air divine seed. His spiritual power had always been ahead of his physical body by a large margin. After a year of extreme physical tempering in Shrek, in addition to his 4th soul ring's tremendous enhancement to his physique, his physical body finally caught up to his spiritual power. However, now that his polychoria had been further developed, Lu Yuan's spiritual power had once again left his physical body in the dust. He could only hope that the star anise mysterious icegrass and the blazing delicate apricot could improve his physical body further. The star anise mysterious icegrass and the blazing delicate apricot were extremely cold, while the other was extremely hot. They possessed extremely potent cold and heat toxins. One of them couldn't be consumed, and could only be consumed when the 2 were neutralized. The golden dragon armor appeared and covered his palms. Lu Yuan didn't want to experience how cold and hot these two immortal herbs were. He directly covered his body with the golden dragon armor. Not even a strand of his hair was harmed. They're indeed impressive. Lu Yuan held the star anise mysterious ice grass in his left hand, and the blazing delicate apricot in his right hand. Even with the golden dragon armor, Lu Yuan could feel the coldness and heat from his hands. If it weren't for the golden dragon armor, he would probably be injured right now. His hands slowly approached each other. When the two immortal herbs were close enough, all the coldness and heat instantly disappeared. Seeing this, Lu Yuan hurriedly combined the two immortal herbs and quickly stuffed them into his mouth, chewing and swallowing. This was because once the two immortal herbs came into contact, all the coldness and heat would disappear. At this time, he only had 3 breaths of time. If he didn't consume them within 3 breaths of time, the two immortal herbs would completely lose their effects. That was why Lu Yuan could swallow them so quickly. The two immortal herbs tasted surprisingly good. They were sweet and fragrant, making one salivate. The two immortal herbs quickly turned into 2 types of energy, one extremely cold and the other extremely hot. They quickly flowed into Lu Yuan's limbs and bones. It's time. In front of Zhu Zhuqing, Lu Yuan didn't mind. He took off his clothes one by one until he was completely naked, leaving only the silver reverse scale on his chest. Lu Yuan directly leapt into the ice-fire yin-yang well, probably because the medicine had begun to take effect. At the intersection of the yin and yang springs, Lu Yuan's figure appeared. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing, who had a worried look on her face, Lu Yuan smiled and said, "Kitty, I'm fine." Phew. Zhu Zhuqing let out a sigh of relief and patted her chest. When Lu Yuan suddenly jumped into the spring earlier, she had truly jumped in fright. She had experienced the coldness and heat of the 2 springs before, yet Lu Yuan had actually jumped in like that. It made her heart skip a beat. However, seeing how Lu Yuan seemed to be fine, Zhu Zhuqing finally relaxed. However, she secretly complained about Lu Yuan in her heart. This bad guy always did things that made her worry. "Zhuqing, if you're tired, go to sleep first. It'll definitely take a lot of time to absorb these 2 immortal herbs. You don't have to watch over me like this," Lu Yuan said with a smile as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful face. "I know." Zhu Zhuqing's slightly cold voice rang out. Her gaze was still fixed on Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan shook his head gently before closing his eyes and absorbing the medicinal effects of the 2 immortal herbs. Chapter 347. Within Lu Yuan's body, 2 streaks of fiery red and icy blue energy were transforming Lu Yuan's body. These 2 streaks of extremely cold and extremely hot energy flowed through his body, and it didn't feel good at all. However, even though it didn't feel good, the alternation of cold and heat was very effective for tempering one's body. Lu Yuan floated above the water, and only his head and a small portion of his chest were exposed. The rest of his body was submerged by the water of the yin-yang spring. On Lu Yuan's exposed chest, one could see that half of Lu Yuan's body was icy blue and the other half was scorching hot. Furthermore, they were alternating with each other. This was the energy of the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot that was transforming and tempering Lu Yuan's body. Suddenly, a golden light flashed on Lu Yuan's body. The golden dragon armor, atlas palm bone, and dark golden terraclaw bear's right palm bone were all automatically released. Streaks of icy blue and fiery red energy extended towards these 3 soul bones. On Lu Yuan's chest, a silver reverse scale was shining with a dim light. In the strange space at the bottom of the Lake of Life in the Great Stardow Forest, Jiyu Yuana, who was comprehending the esoteric character, suddenly opened her purple eyes. She gently stroked her chest, trying to sense Lu Yuan's condition. Why is the reverse scale alternating between hot and cold? It seems to have been attacked by some kind of energy. Did something happen to him? Jiyu Yuana's red lips parted slightly, and a cold look surged on her flawless face. Anyone who dared to hurt him had to die. However, Jiyu Yuana seemed to have sensed something after a while, and the cold look on her face slowly faded. His life aura is still very strong. No, It's getting stronger and stronger. His heartbeat is getting stronger and stronger. This is a sign that his body is becoming stronger. It seems like his golden dragon bloodline has been discovered to a new level. Could it be that he's not in danger, and has encountered some kind of opportunity? Jiu Yuana furrowed her brows slightly. She was a little confused, but she couldn't help but smile. No matter what the situation was, it was best that Lu Yuan wasn't in danger. Also, these bursts of extreme heat and extreme cold give me a sense of déjà vu. Could it be that they have something to do with me? Jiu Yuana was rather perplexed. Should I go and take a look? Jiu Yuana thought. Forget it. I've only just begun to comprehend the esoteric character. Recovering from my injuries is more important. He said that he'll bring me to the continent once I've recovered. For the sake of the soul beast race, I need to recover my strength as soon as possible. Jiu Yuana thought to herself as she suppressed her desire to go and take a look. Lu Yuan, I miss you, Jiu Yuana murmured as she caressed her chest. Naya. In his spiritual sea, Lu Yuan seemed to have sensed something, and his half-lying figure in the blue-gold sea suddenly opened his eyes. In the outside world, the star anise mysterious icegrass and the blazing delicate apricot were nourishing and transforming his body, while he himself directly entered his spiritual sea. Just a moment ago, he had sensed Jiu Yuana's aura. She seemed to miss him a lot. With Jiu Yuana's reverse scale and the fact that their bloodlines were attracted to each other, he and Jiu Yuana had always had a unique connection. Just a moment ago, he had clearly sensed Jiu Yuana's intense longing for him. Jiu Yuana had a high status as the Silver Dragon King, and was the ruler of all the soul beasts in the world. However, she was also someone who cared a lot about relationships. Like other women, she had a weak side, and she needed someone to care for her and protect her. This person should have been Lu Yuan, but it was a pity that Lu Yuan couldn't stay by her side for a long time. Lu Yuan felt a little guilty towards Jiu Yuana. Of all his women, Jiu Yuana was the one he cared about the least. He didn't even spend much time by her side, especially when they separated not long after they confirmed their relationship. Lu Yuan also missed her a little. When I reach rank 50, I'll be sure to spend some time with you. He was now rank 47, and with the 2 immortal herbs he had absorbed today, it would take him at most 7 or 8 months to reach rank 50. In less than a year, he would definitely be able to go to the Great Star Do Forest to obtain his 5th soul ring and see Jiu Yuana. Jiu Yuana was definitely the most beautiful of his women. Even the current Chihiro Snow paled in comparison to her. Perhaps only after Chihiro Snow became a god would he be able to compare with Jiu Yuana. Lu Yuan had always kept her figure in his mind, and he even wanted to see her every day. Putting aside everything else, at the very least, she was very pleasing to the eye. To Lu Yuan, Jiu Yuana's beauty was something that he would never get tired of. Jiu Yuana was so beautiful that he would never get tired of looking at her. Lu Yuan murmured to himself before slowly closing his eyes again. The next morning, the sun gradually rose, and dense purple mist drifted in the sky. All things were beginning to awaken. Lu Yuan suddenly opened his eyes, and his polychoria flashed. The energy from the star anise mysterious icegrass and the blazing delicate apricot had been completely absorbed by his body. His physique had been greatly strengthened and improved. He raised his right hand out of the water and clenched it into a fist. He punched out, and a dull sound could be heard in the air. This was the sound of an explosion. This punch probably contains at least 90,000 kilograms of strength. Lu Yuan's lips curled into a smile. It's not just my strength. My physical body has also improved greatly. My defense has been greatly strengthened. I can really be considered to have an icefire golden body. My physique is definitely not inferior to an ordinary soul Douluo's. It might even be better. The golden dragon armor and the soul bones seem to have changed a little too. Golden light flashed, and the golden dragon armor and the skylifting palm bone appeared. The skylifting palm bone didn't change much. It only became thicker, and streaks of blue and red light occasionally flowed around it. The dark golden terraclaws changed a lot. Not only did they become sharper, but even the 5 sharp claws flickered with icy blue and fiery red lights. They seemed to be much stronger. Are the dark golden terror-claw bear's claws cold and heat poison? Lu Yuan guessed. The star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot's cold and heat poison were very difficult to deal with. They were even more powerful than the man-faced demon spider's poison. The dark golden terror-claw bear was already very powerful. If the poison was added to it, its strength would be very impressive. Anyone who was scratched by it would feel very good. Lu Yuan laughed in his heart. However, the golden dragon battle armor had changed the most. The golden dragon battle armor was originally a brilliant golden color, but now, the golden color was accentuated by an icy blue color and a fiery red color. It looked a lot more gorgeous and cool, and its appearance had improved significantly. He roughly sensed that the golden dragon armor's strength had increased significantly. Its defense had obviously increased, and its weight had also increased significantly. Right now, the golden dragon armor probably weighed around 5,000 kilograms. Chapter 348. When he first obtained the golden dragon armor, it only weighed 2,000 kilograms. At that time, Lu Yuan's strength was only slightly more than 5,000 kilograms. After a year of training in Shrek Academy, Lu Yuan's physique became stronger. His strength increased to 25,000 kilograms. At this time, the golden dragon armor weighed around 5,000 kilograms. After absorbing his 4th soul ring, Lu Yuan jumped to rank 46. His physique became stronger again, and the golden dragon armor increased to more than 6,000 kilograms. This was also the weight of the golden dragon armor before Lu Yuan's icefire yin-yang polarity. After absorbing the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot, his icefire golden body was strengthened again. Lu Yuan's body also underwent another transformation. After absorbing the energy of these 2 herbs, the golden dragon armor also evolved again. Its weight increased to 5,000 kilograms. 5,000 kilograms was a concept. If it were an ordinary soul ancestor, they would be crushed by its weight, let alone fight. Only a freak like Lu Yuan would be able to wear the golden dragon armor so casually. This was the benefit of an external soul bone. Among Lu Yuan's 3 external soul bones, the golden dragon armor was obviously the most helpful. Not only did it increase all his attributes, but it also made him immune to all negative effects. At the same time, its defensive strength was so strong that it made people tremble. For someone like Lu Yuan who liked to fight recklessly, it was very suitable. Lu Yuan had no lack of offensive skills. Even though the dusk gold dreadclaw bear's right palm bone was powerful, it couldn't surpass Polychoria and the sea god's divine skills. Hence, the dusk gold dreadclaw bear's right palm bone wasn't as useful to Lu Yuan as the golden dragon battle armor. However, this didn't mean that the dark golden terror-claw bear's right palm bone wasn't powerful. On the contrary, it was very powerful. Its offensive strength was definitely very strong. It was also very helpful to Lu Yuan, but it wasn't as helpful as the golden dragon armor. It wasn't that it wasn't powerful. It was just that Lu Yuan had many powerful methods. Lu Yuan smiled faintly as he sensed the spring water that no longer felt hot or cold. After eating the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot, he also possessed the ability to be immune to ice and fire. Speaking of which, Lu Yuan had quite a few immunity skills. His golden dragon war body was immune to all control skills, his golden dragon armor was immune to all negative statuses, and now, he was also immune to ice and fire. With these immunity skills, control-type soul masters, poison-type soul masters, ice-type and fire-type soul masters would die if they encountered him. They would be completely suppressed. The Ice-Fire Yin-Yang well should be where the Ice Dragon King and the Fire Dragon King's corpses are. They don't seem to be completely dead. Their spirits are still intact, and there should be some soul bones left behind. I can go take a look with Gu Yuana in the future, but I'll just forget about it for now. Looking at the Ice-Fire Yin-Yang well below him, Lu Yuan's polychoria flickered. It was as if he could see through the layers of obstructions and see the 2 huge dragon corpses. Retracting his gaze, Lu Yuan's hands moved slightly as he swam towards the edge of the spring water. With a light leap, he climbed ashore. Light flashed in his hand, and a clean towel appeared in his hand. Lu Yuan wiped his body dry. After wiping himself clean, he retrieved a set of clothes from his astral ring. After putting them on, he had the time to check out his surroundings. He looked around, and there was still only Zhu Zhuqing and him outside the icefire yin-yang well. Right now, Zhu Zhuqing was sitting cross-legged. Her elbows were placed on her thighs, and her cheeks were slightly propped up. She was sound asleep. Her beautiful black hair was full of dew, but Zhu Zhuqing didn't notice it at all. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing like this, Lu Yuan felt a sense of tenderness in his heart. He didn't know how long she had been watching over him last night. She only fell asleep when she couldn't take it anymore. Walking to Zhu Zhuqing's side, Lu Yuan sat cross-legged and gently pulled Zhu Zhuqing into his arms. Lu Yuan's movements were very gentle, and Zhu Zhuqing was in a deep sleep, so she didn't wake up. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing in his arms and looking at her cold face, Lu Yuan only felt his heart calm. He felt that his luck was really too good. Every girl he met was very, very good. Zhu Zhuqing was like this, and so was Hulena and the others. The red sun slowly rose into the sky and began to emit light and heat. The dazzling light shone on Zhu Zhuqing's face. Immediately, this sleeping little kitten seemed to be disturbed and slowly opened her eyes. "You're awake." Zhu Zhuqing had just opened her beautiful eyes when Lu Yuan's handsome face with a gentle smile entered her eyes. Feeling Lu Yuan's warm embrace, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but change her position to make herself more comfortable. "Have you finished absorbing?" Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful eyes slightly blinked, and her tone carried a trace of concern. "Yen, I've made quite a bit of progress. My fighting strength has also increased by a lot. If I were to fight with Zhao Wuji now, even if I don't use my trump card, I'm confident that I can take him down." Lu Yuan said with a trace of a smile in his tone. "That's good." Hearing the confidence in Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing was sincerely happy for him. What she liked the most was Lu Yuan's confident appearance. He was confident, elegant, and in high spirits, as if nothing could stump him. Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful eyes carefully looked at Lu Yuan, and her eyes flickered with extraordinary splendor. Heh! Seeing Zhu Zhuqing's appearance, Lu Yuan slightly smiled and hugged her even tighter. "Lu Yuan, what are you doing?" Seeing Lu Yuan fiddling with the sunspring, Zhu Zhuqing asked curiously. "I'm refining an antidote for Douluo," Lu Yuan said as he paid attention to the temperature of the fire. "Oh." Zhu Zhuqing nodded. "Once I'm done, you should eat one too," Lu Yuan said. "I'll eat one too. I'm not poisoned, so why would I eat one?" Zhu Zhuqing was a little puzzled. This pill is used to strengthen one's foundation, so it doesn't have any antidote effect. The real effect is in my blood. My blood contains both extreme cold and extreme heat toxins, so it's the real antidote. After I've refined it, not only will the extreme cold and heat toxins not cause harm to the human body, but it can also strengthen one's physique. If you eat one, not only will it strengthen your physique, but it will also make you immune to the climate here. You won't have to fear the extreme cold and extreme heat of the icefire yin-yang well anymore. You can't just carry the vast sea cosmic shroud all day. After all, even though the vast sea cosmic shroud was very convenient to use, it was still uncomfortable to carry it around all day. Zhu Zhuqing couldn't stay in the vast sea cosmic shroud all day, right? She also needed to move around freely, and Lu Yuan didn't want her to be restricted. After refining these pills, I'll refine some body tempering and soul power tempering pills for you to help you stabilize the soul power in your body as soon as possible. After all, even immortal herbs won't affect the foundation of one's soul power, but it won't be as smooth as cultivating on your own. With these pills, you'll be able to better control the soul power in your body," Lu Yuan said with a smile. Chapter 349. Lu Yuan, have you prepared the pill? Is it really as effective as you said? Douluo's voice could be heard from outside the icefire yin-yang well. "Of course it's ready." Lu Yuan smiled as he watched Douluo walk closer. "As for the pill's effectiveness, you'll know once you try it," Senior Douluo. Then I want to see how effective your pill is. Can it dispel my poison? Douluo raised his eyebrows. Zhu Qing, give the pill to Senior Douluo. Lu Yuan said to Zhu Zhuqing. Okay. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. She took 2 steps forward and handed the pill and the jade bottle to Douluo. This little girl's soul power is so profound. More importantly, she's so young. Douluo took the pill and glanced at Zhu Zhuqing with his green eyes. He didn't notice it the last time he came, but he realized that Zhu Zhuqing's soul power was close to rank 40 this time. More importantly, she wasn't even 13 years old. Titled Douluo could even see a soul beast's transformation clearly, let alone their bone age. As long as they were in close contact, they could tell a person's true age. It was obvious that Zhu Zhuqing's soul power and age had shocked Douluo rank 40 before the age of 13. Even geniuses weren't enough to describe her talent. It's all right. She's still a little stronger than Senior Douluo's granddaughter. Lu Yuan chuckled when he heard that. He didn't give Douluo any face. Zhu Zhuqing returned to Lu Yuan's side after handing over the pill. She stood quietly and was exceptionally well behaved. Douluo rolled his eyes when he heard Lu Yuan's words. However, he didn't refute him. His granddaughter was indeed a little lacking compared to Zhu Zhuqing. However, Douluo thought of something when his granddaughter was mentioned. Lu Yuan, there's something this old man wants to thank you for. Douluo said. Oh, what is it? Lu Yuan was interested. I didn't approve of Yang Yang getting together with Yu Tianheng from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, but I couldn't do anything about it. Who would have thought that you would cripple Yu Tianheng after wreaking havoc in the Heaven Do Imperial Academy? That brat's mental state collapsed, and is like a walking corpse now. Yang Yang tried to talk to him several times, but he was still hopeless. He even disappeared from the Imperial Academy a few days ago. Yang Yang was very disappointed and broke up with that brat. I'm very happy. Don't you think I should thank you? Douluo laughed out loud. Oh, there's such a thing. Hearing Douluo's words, Lu Yuan stared blankly. He didn't think that he would really beat Yu Tianheng up that time. This kid still hasn't walked out from his shadow. That made sense. With the pride of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, how could it endure such humiliation? Furthermore, Yu Tianheng was an extremely prideful person, and he was quite talented as well. If it weren't for Tang Wulin, normal soul masters wouldn't be a match for him. If a prodigy like him couldn't recover from such a setback, there was a very high chance that he would die. Haha, of course. That's why I really have to thank you. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect is becoming more and more corrupt, and they're inexplicably arrogant. I've been annoyed with them for a long time. If Yang Yang were to join their sect, she would have been bullied. Now that Yang Yang and Yu Tianheng have severed all ties, I can finally live a peaceful life without having to worry about Yang Yang being bullied. Then I must congratulate you, Senior Douluo. Lu Yuan smiled. It was good that Douluo Yang and Yu Tianheng weren't related. He had to destroy the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect sooner or later. If Douluo Yang and Yu Tianheng still had that kind of relationship, then it would be quite a hindrance to Lu Yuan's plans. Even though it wouldn't affect Lu Yuan's plans, Lu Yuan couldn't ignore Douluo's emotions. After all, Douluo would have already been his subordinate by then, so it wouldn't be good for their relationship to be affected. Indeed, I must congratulate you. Douluo smiled as he appraised Lu Yuan. His green eyes blinked as he asked in a slightly meaningful manner, Lu Yuan, you're not even 13 years old yet, right? Yes. Lu Yuan nodded in response. It wasn't strange for Douluo to be able to see through his skeletal age. I can see that your soul force has already reached rank 47. Furthermore, your soul force is far more condensed than the average soul master. That Yu Tianheng is nothing compared to you. Why don't we have a discussion? Douluo smiled. What discussion? Why don't I introduce my granddaughter to you? As long as you become my grandson-in-law, I'll leave my old life in your hands, let alone join your faction. What do you think? I've asked Yang Yang about this before, and she said that she doesn't hate you. Douluo chuckled. This. Lu Yuan had just opened his mouth, but before he could finish his sentence, He felt a pair of piercing eyes staring straight at him. There was a deep chill in those eyes. Lu Yuan couldn't help but shudder. He didn't even need to look to know who was looking at him. Lu Yuan pretended as if nothing had happened and held Zhu Zhuqing's jade-like hand. He smiled and said, "Senior Dugu, as you can see, I already have a girlfriend. Moreover, this little kitten of mine is very jealous, so I don't have the fortune to enjoy your granddaughter. You should find someone else." Me. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing snorted lightly. The coldness in her eyes disappeared without a trace. She took 2 steps to the right and leaned on Lu Yuan. Seeing this, Lu Yuan smiled bitterly. Zhu Zhuqing was declaring her sovereignty. It was difficult for this shy kitten to do such a thing in front of so many people. If even Zhuqing is like this, wouldn't the sky be pierced if Na and Cher meet in the future? Lu Yuan wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. He felt that there was still a long way to go. Chihiro Snow, Hulena, and Zhu Zhuqing could be considered to have accepted each other's existence. Although Chihiro Snow had some opinions about Hulena, he had at least verbally agreed, so Lu Yuan didn't have to worry about it. However, if Gu Yuana interfered, there would definitely be a storm. At that time, Lu Yuan would have to go around putting out fires. Moreover, Na's identity is a bit sensitive. Strictly speaking, she didn't violate her promise to Cher and the others. After all, Na isn't human. However, it would be difficult for them to accept Na. The most difficult one to deal with is still Cher. Cher is really difficult to deal with. Lu Yuan sighed helplessly, causing Zhu Zhuqing to look at him doubtfully. "Senior Dugu, you don't need to mention this matter anymore. You should take a look at the effects of the pill first," Lu Yuan said. Chapter 350. Ah, that's a pity. It's rare to meet someone with your talent, looks, and temperament that suits my taste. Dugu Bo sighed and said, "Are you really not going to reconsider? I don't mind if Yang Yang and this little girl serve you together. After all, you have the right to do so with your talent and background. There's really no need for that." Lu Yuan could feel that Zhu Zhuqing, who was beside him, was already trembling slightly. Her gaze was so murderous that it could kill. He quickly refused and changed the topic. If he allowed Dugu Bo to continue, Zhu Zhuqing would probably go berserk. Dugu Bo was fine. If he left, Huo Yuhao would be the unlucky one. This little wild cat was very wild. If she threw a tantrum, it wouldn't be easy to deal with her. "Ah, all right then." Dugu Bo sighed and shook his head. He pointed at the pill in his hand and said, "How do I eat this?" "Just eat 1 pill a day. Gradually, the poison will be forced out of your body," Lu Yuan said. "Oh, let me try." Dugu Bo opened the jade bottle and poured out a pill. He didn't hesitate and put it into his mouth. This wasn't because he trusted Lu Yuan. It was because he knew that Lu Yuan could kill him easily. Long Xiaoyaro could kill him easily. Therefore, Lu Yuan didn't need to do anything to the pill. After the pill entered his stomach, Dugu Bo gradually circulated his soul power. Green light circulated on his body. After a few minutes, Dugu Bo opened his eyes. "How is it?" Lu Yuan asked with a smile. "It's effective. I can feel that some of the poison in my body has been expelled." Dugu Bo nodded and said, "That's right. As long as you eat it for a month, the poison in your body will be mostly expelled." Lu Yuan's eyes turned as he spoke. "However, I don't recommend that you expel all the poison. Although this poison threatens your life, it's also a powerful weapon. If you can control the poison in your body freely, your abilities will definitely increase significantly." "Oh, could it be that you have a way?" Dugu Bo's eyes lit up as he said. "I once came across a book called The Complete Pill Tao Solution. There was a chapter on the heavenly poison. Not only did it record all sorts of poisonous plants, creatures, and so on, it also contained some of the cultivation experiences of poison-type soul cultivators. One of the methods was called the poison pill method. It allowed one to cultivate a life-bound poison pill within one's body and store all of the toxins produced by one's body within the poison pill. Not only can this poison pill contain all the toxins in the body, thus preventing the toxins from harming the body. It can also completely control the toxins in the body and increase the speed of cultivation. It should have a miraculous effect on Senior Douluo's current situation. If you can cultivate a poison pill, your soul power will increase by at least 2 ranks. Furthermore, you can completely control your jade phosphorus snake venom. When that happens, Senior Douluo will no longer be the weakest titled Douluo, Lu Yuan said with a smile. There's actually such a miraculous technique in this world. Hearing this, Douluo was so excited that his entire body trembled. If he could obtain the method to cultivate this poison pill, not only would he be able to prevent the toxins from harming his body, but his soul power would also increase greatly. How could Douluo not be excited? Furthermore, if this method could be passed on to Yang Yang, not only would Yang Yang be able to escape from danger, but she would also become a top-notch genius with a boundless future. He didn't doubt that Lu Yuan was lying at all. This was because Lu Yuan's pill had already proven that he had the ability to remove the toxins in his body. Since that was the case, then the poison pill method that he spoke of was definitely true. How about it? Senior Douluo, what do you think? As long as you're willing to join my faction, I'll hand over this poison pill method with both hands. Lu Yuan had a confident smile on his face. With such a temptation, he wasn't worried that Douluo wouldn't submit. This poison pill method was definitely something that Douluo's jade phosphorus snake lineage needed the most. This old man agrees to your request. From now on, I'll be at your disposal. However, this old man has a condition, Douluo said. What condition? Senior Douluo, feel free to state it. As long as it's reasonable, I'll agree to it, Lu Yuan said. This old man hopes that you can pass this poison pill method to Yang Yang. This old man only has one granddaughter. As long as you agree to this condition, this old man's life will be in your hands. Douluo's expression was serious. When he spoke of Douluo Yang, there was a trace of affection in his eyes. Sure, but Douluo Yang has to join my faction first. This poison pill method will definitely not be passed on to outsiders, Lu Yuan said indifferently. Naturally, this old man can make the decision for Yang Yang, Douluo hurriedly said. That's good. That's all for today. I'll write down the poison pill method later. You can come and get it at this time tomorrow. Oh, and send some ingredients over tonight. It's best if you send a few more fish. Lu Yuan waved his hand and said. All right. What's the name of our faction? Douluo asked. Let's call it the Dragon King Hall, Lu Yuan said indifferently. Originally, he was going to call it the Dragon Palace Hall. However, the Dragon Palace Hall was not domineering enough, and the Pontiff Palace Hall and the Hall of Worship both had 3 characters in their names. In order to be more symmetrical, Lu Yuan changed the name and called it the Dragon King Palace Hall. Dragon King Hall? That's a good name, Douluo praised. Then from today onwards, this old man will call you Hall Master. How about that? It's just a title. Suit yourself. Lu Yuan didn't care what he was called. As long as he was obedient, it was fine. He had many titles. Long Xiaoyaro called him Master, the Wild Rhino and the others called him Young Master Yuan, and the Sky Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape called him Lord. Now that Douluo called him Hall Master, it didn't matter. After all, it was just a title. Then this old man will take his leave, Hall Master. I'll personally send the ingredients over tonight, Douluo said. All right, go ahead. Lu Yuan replied faintly. After Douluo left, Lu Yuan looked at the wild rhino Douluo and waved his hand. Young Master Yuan, what do you need me to do? The wild rhino Douluo asked. Lu Yuan's hand flashed, and a letter appeared out of thin air. Elder Wild Rhino, please go to the Martial Soul Palace and pass this to Salas. Ask him to pass it to my senior sister at the Martial Soul Palace. Ask her to act according to the letter's contents. Yes, young Master Yuan, the Wild Rhino Douluo said as he received the letter. All right, go ahead, Lu Yuan said. Yes, then this old man will take his leave. The Wild Rhino Douluo nodded. After that, he turned around and quickly disappeared. After the Wild Rhino Douluo left, Only Lu Yuan, Zhu Qing, and Long Xiaoyaro were left in the icefire yin-yang well. Elder Long. Lu Yuan raised his head and looked at Long Xiaoyaro. Yes, master. Long Xiaoyaro nodded his head and walked away. Chapter 351. Little kitty, if you have anything to say, you can say it now. Lu Yuan smiled as he looked at Zhu Juqing beside him. He had sent Long Xiaoyaro away because he realized that Zhu Juqing had something to say. Although she looked calm, her eyes couldn't fool him. She had something to say to him. What did you write in the letter that you asked the frenzied rhino Douluo to pass to Helena through Sarkaz to the martial Soul Palace? Zhu Juqing asked curiously. Nothing much. I just asked her to come here secretly and give her an immortal herb. Lu Yuan said. That's not a big deal. You could have just asked Sarkaz to pass it back. You didn't have to write a letter. Zhu Juqing was a little confused. After hearing this, Lu Yuan glanced at Zhu Juqing, but didn't say anything. Oh, I know. You don't want Chihiro Snow to know that Helena has come to Heaven Do Imperial City, right? Zhu Juqing suddenly thought of something and said, the frenzied rhino Douluo is one of the great consecrators. He will definitely pass on some of your words to Chihiro Snow. If you directly asked for Helena, Chihiro Snow will definitely know. However, you don't want them to meet yet, because you haven't removed the thorn in Chihiro Snow's heart. You're afraid that they will fight when they meet. However, if you send a letter back, the frenzied rhino Douluo won't dare to open it and peek. At most, he will report to Chihiro Snow that you gave Helena a letter. However, Chihiro Snow won't know the contents of the letter. Naturally, he won't know that Helena has come to Heaven Do City. Zhu Juqing looked as if she had guessed everything. She looked at Lu Yuan coldly and asked, am I right? Looking at Zhu Juqing's confident look, Lu Yuan smiled and said, Kitty, you've become much smarter after following me for so long. What Zhu Juqing said was indeed what Lu Yuan was thinking. The yearning heartbroken red was too precious. Lu Yuan couldn't just let Sarkaz send it back, so he could only ask Helena to make the trip. Besides, he could also see Helena again, killing two birds with one stone. However, Chihiro Snow was a little troublesome, so he could only hide it from her and let Helena come secretly. Mph, if I don't become smarter, wouldn't I be fooled by you? Zhu Juqing snorted and said. Kitty, when did I lie to you? Don't wrongly accuse a good person, Lu Yuan complained on the spot. Did you promise me and Helena that there are only the three of us in this life except for some irresistible factors? Zhu Juqing stared straight at Lu Yuan with her big eyes. Yes, I didn't lie to you. I really only have the three of you now, Lu Yuan said. Then Dugu Bo kept introducing Dugu Yang to you and said that she doesn't hate you. Did you provoke her? Zhu Juqing asked. Provoke who? Dugu Yang? Don't joke around. I taught her a lesson, but that was in the arena. She was still with Yu Tianheng at that time. How could I be interested in someone else's girlfriend? Kitty, you underestimate me, Lu Yuan said. Then why did Dugu Bo say that Dugu Yang doesn't hate you? Zhu Juqing asked. Lu Yuan rolled his eyes and said, I'm not boasting, but with my looks and aura, any girl wouldn't hate me. At least I haven't found a girl who hates me. You can't say that I'm just seducing anyone just because I'm charming. Phut, Narcissus. Zhu Juqing scolded. Hey, Kitty, I've realized that you're getting more and more arrogant. Is it because I didn't kiss you the last time? Do you still want it now? Alright, I'll satisfy you. Lu Yuan hugged Zhu Juqing tightly in his arms and lowered his head slightly. He was about to kiss Zhu Juqing's red lips. Naughty fellow, no. Zhu Juqing immediately rejected him as she recalled how swollen her lips had been from his kiss the last time. However, Zhu Juqing's cherry lips were blocked by Lu Yuan before she could finish speaking. Woo. Is this the poison pill method? It's indeed very mysterious. Long Xiaoyaro said softly as he looked at Dugu Bo, who was sitting cross-legged and condensing his poison pill. Yes, this poison pill method is indeed a treasure to some poison-type soul masters. It's very helpful. Lu Yuan's polychoria flashed with a strange light. He could tell that Douluo's aura was slowly rising. The green light on his body was concentrated in his dantian. That was where the poison pill was condensed. Douluo had cultivated an inner pill before. He had even fed it to Tang San in the original novel. Tang San had extracted many benefits from it, and Douluo had advanced 3 ranks in less than half a year. However, Douluo's inner pill was a little special. His martial soul was the jade-scaled serpent emperor, but his inner pill didn't contain any poison at all. It was very strange. Wouldn't it be better to condense the poison directly into his inner pill? Not only would he be free from the threat of the poison, but he would also be able to increase his abilities. However, Lu Yuan felt that it was normal that Douluo didn't do that. After all, it wasn't easy to condense all the poison in one's body into one's inner pill. It was just like the poison pill method. If Douluo didn't have this method, it would be very difficult for him to condense his own poison pill. If Douluo succeeds in condensing his poison pill, he should be able to reach rank 93. Long Xiaoyaro estimated Douluo's aura and said, "Yes. However, this is only the beginning. Once he's truly proficient in using the poison pill, it won't take more than a few years for his soul force to rise to rank 95. After all, the poison hidden in his body is simply too frightening. This will greatly increase his cultivation speed after he successfully condenses the poison pill. However, his cultivation will stagnate once he reaches rank 95. When that happens, his cultivation speed will slow down again. This is because the poison's strength will be used up sooner or later." Lu Yuan tapped his chin and said, "That's normal. That's normal. This is great news for him. If it weren't for my lord, he wouldn't have been able to live for long. He wouldn't have had the chance to become a rank 95 transcendent Douluo. My lord has given him a new lease on life. I hope he can repay this kindness and serve my lord wholeheartedly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless." Long Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with a sharp look as he spoke. "I'm not worried about that. Douluo is someone who values friendship. Since he's benefited from me, I'm not afraid that he won't do his best." Lu Yuan smiled and said, "If he still has any other thoughts, I'll let him know that it's not so easy to take my things." Lu Yuan still trusted Douluo. After all, he was someone who kept his promises in the original novel. Because he had promised Tang San something, he didn't complain even if Tang San emptied the entire Icefire Yin-Yang well. Instead, he still became a guest elder of Shrek Academy. Douluo's character could be seen from this. Although his temper was weird, he was definitely reliable. Chapter 352. Lu Yuan and the others were standing together in the Icefire Yin-Yang well. They were sizing up Douluo, who was condensing his poison pill. The green light in Douluo's dantian was even more dazzling, and his aura had risen significantly. Lu Yuan's polychoria flickered, and he could see a green poison pill spinning in Douluo's dantian. "It's about time," Lu Yuan said softly as he retracted his polychoria. "It's about time." Long Xiaoyaro could feel that Douluo's aura had condensed to a certain level, and he was just waiting for an opportunity to explode. "Zhuqing, back off." Lu Yuan held Zhu Zhuqing's hand and retreated a few steps. Suddenly, Douluo's jade-green eyes opened, and they flickered. Green light spread from his body in all directions, and a powerful aura was unleashed. Ha ha ha. Douluo couldn't hold it in any longer as he sensed the increase in his soul power. He couldn't help but laugh to the sky as he expressed his joy. "My soul power should be at rank 93 now." Douluo's eyes flashed, and he subconsciously clenched his fists. "Elder Douluo, why aren't you retracting your aura? Look at the medicinal herbs around you. They've withered a lot." Lu Yuan's voice rang out just as Douluo was secretly rejoicing. "Hall Master." Douluo immediately retracted his aura when he heard Lu Yuan's voice. "Elder Douluo, congratulations on your increase in cultivation to rank 93. Your cultivation is no longer below Elder Crazy Rhino's." Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. "Thank you for your kindness, Hall Master. I'll be at your disposal from now on," Douluo said. "Yes, I believe that with Elder Douluo's addition, the Dragon King Hall will become even more powerful. Lu Yuan said clearly. Elder Douluo, please prepare a few good cauldrons. I want to refine a few pills that can improve soul power and strength. Lu Yuan said to Douluo. Yes, Hallmaster. Hallmaster, what should we do about Yang Yang? Douluo asked. Douluo Yang's current strength is still low. She doesn't have the ability to condense a poison pill right now. At the very least, she'll have to wait until she's a soul king before her spiritual power can barely meet the minimum requirement to condense a poison pill. I'll refine a few bottles of pills for her to temporarily suppress the poison in her body. At the same time, I will also give her some of the pills that can increase her strength. If you have time, just bring her here, Lu Yuan said. Thank you, Hallmaster. Douluo's face was filled with joy. Then, Hallmaster, this old man will go prepare the cultivation furnace now. Hearing that his granddaughter would also be able to refine this pill, Douluo was immediately filled with enthusiasm. He excitedly ran off to prepare the furnace. Master, we've subdued Douluo. What are we going to do next? Long Xiaoyao asked softly after Douluo left. After I gather some herbs here to refine some pills for Zhuqing, we'll return to Heavendo Imperial City. I want to open an academy to play with. The Blue Tyrant Academy is a good choice. Let's buy it, Lu Yuan said. Young Master Yuan, if I remember correctly, the Blue Tyrant Academy was opened by Liu Erlong of the Golden Iron Triangle. Liu Erlong is the illegitimate daughter of Yu Luomian of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Although Liu Erlong doesn't have a harmonious relationship with the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, the Blue Tyrant Academy should be supported by the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to establish itself in Heavendo Imperial City so easily. If you buy it, won't it provoke the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect? Furthermore, what if Liu Erlong isn't willing to sell it? The frenzy Rhino Douluo asked. Provoke them. Lu Yuan raised his eyebrows and said, I want to provoke them step by step. If they dare to jump out and cause trouble, I'll just slap them to death. I'm just afraid that they don't have the guts to do so. As for Liu Erlong, she has a bad temper and is easily impulsive. She's easy to deal with. It won't be difficult to buy it. I have my ways. Lu Yuan said plainly. Moreover, it would be too troublesome if I really wanted to open my own academy. The rules of the Blue Tyrant Academy state that they only accept commoner students and not noble students. Although they might not be able to follow through to the end, no matter what, they have given commoner students a chance. Just based on this point alone, I admire them very much. It's also in line with my goal. That's why I'm prepared to buy it and refine it. I'll turn it into my own academy. Furthermore, this academy has the right to participate in the Continental Advanced Soul Master Tournament. We can use this tournament's championship to spread the name of our academy. Prince Yuan, aren't you going to represent the Martial Soul Palace in the tournament? The frenzy Rhino Douluo asked in astonishment. Lu Yuan looked at the frenzy Rhino Douluo and was a little speechless. I'm now the Hall Master of the Dragon King Hall. I'll be the master of a new superpower. I settled in the Heavendo Empire to help Cher take over the Heavendo Empire. If my identity is exposed, how can I help Cher? Not to mention representing the Martial Soul Palace in the tournament. That's impossible. Lu Yuan looked at the frenzy Rhino Douluo helplessly. These titled Douluo were strong, but not many of them were smart. The frenzy Rhino Douluo was a representative of them. He couldn't even see through something as simple as this. However, it wasn't surprising. His martial soul was the frenzy rhino. It was normal for a rhino to be a little stupid. That's true. I've thought too much. The frenzy Rhino Douluo laughed. He looked a little embarrassed. He knew that he wasn't very smart. That was why he had always done whatever Lu Yuan and Chihiro Snow told him to do. He had never asked too much. He didn't expect that he would reveal his low intelligence just by asking a question. Most importantly, the three of them were looking at him weirdly, which made him feel a little awkward. Forget it, forget it. I'll leave these brainy things to Prince Yuan and young mistress. I'll just listen to their orders. I won't dare to say anything else. Our team won't lose with you around. After all, with your abilities, it won't be difficult for you to take on 7 people at once. However, the Martial Soul Palace team will definitely lose if we do that. The Martial Soul Palace has always been the champion. If we lose the championship, it might not look good for the Martial Soul Palace. Zhu Zhuqing's cold voice sounded. A little face doesn't mean anything. Right now, our Martial Soul Palace is too powerful. We're even suppressing the 2 empires. Both the Heaven Do Empire and the Star Luo Empire are very resistant to our Martial Soul Palace. If the Martial Soul Palace continues to be strong, it might cause some reaction from the 2 empires and the various sects. If they take precautions against our Martial Soul Palace in advance, it won't be worth it. Chapter 353. If the Martial Soul Palace team loses in the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament, they will only lose some face. It will also make the other sects and powers think that the Martial Soul Palace is not invincible. They will also lose, and they will let down their guard. At the same time, if our team wins, as the team that defeated the Martial Soul Palace, we will definitely attract the attention of everyone. Even the Dragon King Hall will attract attention. This will be very helpful for us to absorb power and grow quickly. There will definitely be more commoners joining the academy, and it will also be easier for us to rope in other powers to join the Dragon King Hall. After all, reputation is sometimes a powerful weapon. There's one more thing. The rise of the Dragon King Hall will attract the attention of the other powers, but it will also cause the Martial Soul Palace's presence to fade. This will be more beneficial for the Martial Soul Palace to secretly accumulate power. When the time is right, they can launch an all-out attack. Furthermore, with the Dragon King Hall's cooperation, it will be much easier for them to unify the continent. It's killing many birds with one stone. That's why it's better for the Martial Soul Palace to lose than win. Even if we lose, the reward will still land in our hands. Isn't it the same as landing in the hands of the Martial Soul Palace? The meat will still be rotting in the pot. Faced with Zhu Zhuqing's doubts, Lu Yuan spoke frankly with assurance. Yes. After hearing Lu Yuan's analysis, everyone nodded in agreement. According to Lu Yuan, it was indeed better for the Martial Soul Palace to lose than win. Let's stop here for now. After we settle the matters in the academy, I'll find some time to craft a few soul tools. I'll ask Cher to invite Ning Fengji. That old fox, it's time to catch him. We can't let go of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. Also, Elder Wild Rhino, please inform Cher to help me purchase some rare metals. I want to craft soul tools with them. Also, tell her that I'll look for her after we settle the matters here. Tell her to make the necessary preparations. Lu Yuan said plainly. Yes, young Master Yuan, the frenzied Rhino Douluo replied. Well, you don't have to come back here after you go there. It won't be long before I go to Cher's place. You can wait for me at her place. You don't have to rush back. It's quite troublesome to rush back and forth, Lu Yuan said. I understand. In that case, young Master Yuan, I'll go now. The Hell Rhino Douluo nodded as he spoke. Go. Lu Yuan waved his hand. The frenzy Rhino Douluo's figure gradually disappeared, and Lu Yuan held Zhu Zhuqing's hand as they strolled around the Icefire Yin-Yang well. They were picking out the herbs they needed to refine pills. Lu Yuan, did you purposely send the frenzy Rhino Douluo away? Zhu Zhuqing asked as she watched Lu Yuan keep the herbs. Yeah, with him around, I can't even be intimate with you, Lu Yuan said with a smile. You're spouting nonsense again. Zhu Zhuqing gently punched Lu Yuan and said, I think you must have an ulterior motive. You're such a bad guy. You're full of bad intentions. Yeah, I'm full of bad intentions. So after I'm done packing, I'll play tricks on you. Let's see if you still dare to be as arrogant as you are now. Lu Yuan purposely pretended to be fierce as he spoke. P2E, stinky hooligan. You only know how to bully me. Zhu Zhuqing's cheeks turned slightly red as she glared at Lu Yuan. You're my little kitten. If I don't bully you, who else can I bully? Do you want me to bully other women? Lu Yuan kept a stalk of immortal herb into his star ring. He tapped his chin gently and wore a mischievous smile on his face. If you really have such a request, I think I can satisfy you. Is that so? Then you can give it a try. Zhu Zhuqing's expression didn't change, but her eyes were filled with coldness. She kept sizing up Lu Yuan's lower body. Lu Yuan couldn't help but feel goosebumps as he sensed Zhu Zhuqing's cold gaze. His body shrank slightly. When this kitten became wild, she was really a little fierce. He couldn't afford to offend her. Hehe, I'm just teasing you. Do I look like that kind of person? Lu Yuan chuckled and hurriedly said. You do. If Helena and I didn't ask you for a promise, given your fickleness, it wouldn't just be the three of us. When we were in Shrek Academy, Ning Rongrong dared to seduce you in front of me. I've always seen it. If I wasn't around, it's really hard to say whether you would have been seduced by Ning Rongrong. After all, she's a prodigy of the Seven Treasures glazed sect. She's compatible with you in terms of social status. She's also so beautiful. Most importantly, she likes you so much. Furthermore, don't you want to control the Seven Treasures glazed sect? Just marry Ning Rongrong and everything will be fine. Isn't it much simpler than what you're thinking now? Zhu Zhuqing's tone carried a trace of inexplicable emotion. Pa. He flicked Zhu Zhuqing's forehead. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing's stubborn eyes, Lu Yuan's expression was a little helpless. You little kitten, you're testing me again. Since I've promised you and my senior sisters, I'll definitely do it. I won't go back on my promise. Don't always think so much, let your imagination run wild, and be jealous. Your jealousy is almost as strong as Cher's. As he spoke, Lu Yuan gently rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's head and said gently, Tempage, who asked you to be so popular with girls? How can I not be jealous? Zhu Zhuqing muttered. Sigh, I can't help it. Who asked me to be so charming? It's always easy to attract the attention of girls. To be honest, I'm also very troubled. Lu Yuan pretended to sigh and said without any embarrassment. Narcissist, you're really shameless. Zhu Zhuqing curled her lips. Although this was the truth, why did Lu Yuan always give her a feeling of narcissism when he said it? Ah. Lu Yuan smiled at Zhu Zhuqing's ridicule and didn't care at all. Pinching Zhu Zhuqing's face, Lu Yuan continued to pick the herbs. Orchid spirit grass, jade emperor flower, profound essence root, cinnabar lotus. It's almost done. After picking all the herbs neatly, Lu Yuan clapped his hands and said, How many pills can you refine with so many herbs? Zhu Zhuqing asked with some doubts. It's hard to say how many I can refine. It depends on my success rate. After all, this is alchemy. It's not like the so-called tonic mixed with my blood for Douluo. It only needs a simple mix. The real alchemy is actually very tedious and delicate work. Moreover, even a mature alchemist will have times of failure. Moreover, I don't have any alchemy experience. If I want to refine, I will definitely need to experiment a few times. The failure rate is definitely not low. Perhaps I will fail many times before I can get on the right track. This will also waste a lot of herbs. However, with so many herbs, even if the failure rate is high, it should be more than enough for you and Dugu Yang to use. Lu Yuan said lightly. Chapter 354. Lu Yuan was refining pills next to the hot sun spring. Refining pills was a job that required a lot of skill, especially the control of fire. If there was even the slightest mistake, then the result would be a furnace of waste. This was already Lu Yuan's third furnace of pills. The previous two furnaces had all turned into waste, wasting a lot of medicinal herbs for no reason. Although he had directly obtained the contents of the complete alchemy explanation, in theory, he had gotten full marks and knew what to do at every step. However, he was still a bit flustered when it came to actual practice. It was really easy to talk, but in reality, it was very difficult to actually do it. Fortunately, Lu Yuan was mentally prepared in advance. When he first started refining pills, he only refined the simplest of pills. For example, the soul-returning pill had a very simple function, which was to restore soul power. As for the effect, it was okay. For some soul masters and soul grandmasters, it was still quite useful. Lu Yuan used it to practice. After refining a few furnaces and becoming more familiar with alchemy, it wouldn't be too late to refine the body tempering pill, qi tempering pill, and spirit ascension pill. The body tempering pill was naturally a pill used to temper one's physique. Only the qi tempering pill was used to temper one's soul force and make it purer. The spirit ascending pill was used to increase one's soul force. Among them, the body tempering pill and qi tempering pill were naturally of a higher grade than the soul returning pill. They were suitable for soul elders and soul ancestors, but they were still classified as low-grade pills. The spirit ascension pill's grade was slightly higher, and Lu Yuan was preparing to refine it last. Alchemy also relied on talent. Those with talent would be able to get started very quickly, but those without talent might not be able to achieve much even if they studied it for a lifetime. Lu Yuan's talent was naturally considered to be above average. He had only wasted 2 furnaces of pills, but the 3rd furnace was already slowly on the right track. In addition to Lu Yuan's own perception, it was also related to his extremely high mental strength. With a high mental strength, it would be easier for him to refine pills. He would be able to keenly feel the changes inside the pill. It's about time. I can reduce the fire. After a bit of warming, I can take it out of the furnace. Feeling that the pill was slowly taking shape inside the furnace, Lu Yuan hurriedly removed most of the fire from the furnace, leaving only a few remnants to slowly nurture the pill. A few minutes later, it's done. Lu Yuan gently patted the cauldron with his right hand. Immediately, a few streaks of light flew out from the cauldron. With a casual grab, all of them were sucked into his hand. Looking at the 5 smooth and round pills in his hand, Lu Yuan revealed a smile on his face. Medium quality, not bad. I thought they were low quality. Elixirs were also divided into different grades. Basically, there were 4 grades: low grade, mid grade, high grade, and top grade. Lu Yuan could actually refine a mid-grade elixir. After all, this was the first batch of elixirs that he had successfully refined. Is this a medicinal pill? Seeing that Lu Yuan had finished refining, Zhu Zhuqing, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately walked up to Lu Yuan's side. Her beautiful eyes looked at the pill in Lu Yuan's hand, and her eyes were filled with surprise. Yen, this is a soul-returning pill. It can restore soul power. Do you want to try one? Smiling at Zhu Zhuqing, Lu Yuan picked up a soul-returning pill and asked. No, don't even think of using me as a lab rat. Zhu Zhuqing refused decisively. Although the pill was pleasing to the eye, with its dark green color and faint fragrance, this was Lu Yuan's first batch. She didn't dare try it. After all, she had seen Lu Yuan's first 2 batches of elixirs. Ari, what a pity. It's such a good thing, but you don't know what it is. Lu Yuan sighed. Suddenly, Lu Yuan's face lit up with surprise. Senior Rhinoceros, what are you doing here? Weren't you with Cher? What? Zhu Zhuqing's attention was drawn. She turned her head, her beautiful eyes sweeping the area, but there was no one there. Lu Yuan, are you seeing things? There's no one. Before Zhu Zhuqing could finish, a pill was shoved into her mouth. She felt someone lift her chin, and with a gurgling sound, the pill went in. Zhu Zhuqing stared blankly at the culprit in front of her. The air seemed to grow still. 1 second. 2 seconds. Ah. Then there was an ear-piercing shriek. Lu Yuan, I'm going to kill you. Zhu Zhuqing leapt up and tackled Lu Yuan to the ground. She opened her mouth wide and bit down on Lu Yuan's shoulder. Ooh! Lu Yuan reached out and covered Zhu Zhuqing's mouth with one hand. He flipped over and pulled Zhu Zhuqing's delicate body into his embrace with the other hand. Zhuqing, calm down, calm down. Don't be impulsive. Impulsiveness is the devil. Lu Yuan's hand was still clamped over Zhu Zhuqing's mouth. He gently patted her back as he tried to soothe her. Being hugged by Lu Yuan, Zhu Zhuqing could not move even if she wanted to. She could only stop struggling, but her big eyes were fixed on Lu Yuan with a murderous look in her eyes. Ooh! Zhu Zhuqing whimpered. You want me to let you go? Sure, I can let you go, but you can't bite me, okay? Lu Yuan said. Ooh! Zhu Zhuqing nodded. Then I'll let you go. Seeing that Zhu Zhuqing didn't seem to have any strange movements, Lu Yuan slowly removed his hand from Zhu Zhuqing's mouth. Ah, hiss. Just as his hand was removed, Zhu Zhuqing seized the opportunity and bit the back of Lu Yuan's hand. It was so painful that Lu Yuan sucked in a breath of cold air. Humph. Seeing Lu Yuan grimacing in pain, Zhu Zhuqing snorted proudly. You deserve it. Who told you to deliberately play with me and feed me this kind of thing when I wasn't paying attention? Alright, I reap what I sow, okay? You little kitty, since when did you like to bite people so much? Lu Yuan shook his head as he looked at the obvious teeth marks on the back of his hand. It hurt a little, but it was impossible. He still had the soul bone in his hand. Furthermore, with Lu Yuan's current physical strength, even if Zhu Zhuqing broke her teeth, she wouldn't be able to bite through his skin. Lu Yuan purposely made such a big expression just to let Zhu Zhuqing vent her anger. Otherwise, this little kitty wouldn't let him off easily. Zhuqing, how do you feel after eating this pill? The effect should be quite obvious. There's no problem with this soul-returning pill. I know how to refine it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have fed it to you. I can't bear to see anything happen to you, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Mph, you're still talking about it. You bad guy, you actually used me as a lab rat. Zhu Zhuqing glared at Lu Yuan. Then, she carefully felt the changes in her body and said, the effect is quite obvious. I can feel a warm current flowing in my body. It should be recovering my soul power. It's just that my soul power is full now, so there's not much change in my soul power. However, this pill is effective. Chapter 355. Is that so? That's good. This soul-returning pill can be considered to have been successfully refined. Next, I'll refine another batch of soul-returning pills. Once I'm familiar with it, I can attempt to refine the body-tempering pill. Lu Yuan chuckled and said, since that's the case, you should hurry up and practice. Don't hug me so tightly. I can't even move. Zhu Zhuqing rolled her eyes and said, but I like to hug you. Don't you like to be hugged by me? Lu Yuan smiled and loosened his grip on Zhu Zhuqing's hand. I like it. It's just that it's daytime now. You can refine pills at night. We have plenty of time at night. Zhu Zhuqing's pretty face blushed as she whispered. Haha, that's what you said. Lu Yuan rubbed Zhu Zhuqing's head and let go of Zhu Zhuqing. With a wave of his hand, a pile of herbs appeared beside him. Then I'll start refining pills. Kitty, don't try to tempt me. Otherwise, I'll be distracted. Pei, who's trying to tempt you? Zhu Zhuqing secretly spat, but she didn't leave. She just quietly stood to the side and watched Lu Yuan refine pills. When Lu Yuan did something, he would always put his heart and soul into it. This was the biggest reason why he could do everything well. When he started refining pills, he really didn't have time to care about Zhu Zhuqing. For Zhu Zhuqing, what she liked the most was Lu Yuan's serious appearance. Her jade-like hands supported her cheeks as she quietly watched Lu Yuan. Her eyes flashed with infatuation. Just like in the past, Helena watched Lu Yuan cultivate every night. Every night, she would watch Lu Yuan's side face as she fell asleep. These two girls, in a certain aspect, did have some similarities. Body tempering pill, success. The sky gradually darkened. Lu Yuan finally succeeded in refining the first batch of body tempering pills. Of course, during this time, he failed twice. A lot of medicinal herbs were wasted. 8 body tempering pills, 6 of medium quality and 2 of high quality. Looking at the 8 pills in his hand, Lu Yuan nodded slightly. Although they were both body tempering pills, the higher quality ones were much stronger than the lower quality ones. Leave the high-level ones for Zhuqing. As for the mid-level ones, keep them and give them to your subordinates in the future. Of course, you can also use them to win people's hearts. I can prepare more of these body tempering pills. Senior sister also needs them. I can't give all the good stuff to Zhuqing, so I have to leave some for senior sister. As for Cher, I should also prepare some. Even if her rank is high and she doesn't need them, I still have to give her some. Otherwise, she'll definitely overthink things. This girl is too jealous. Lu Yuan inwardly thought. The 8 body tempering pills were divided into 2 bottles. He would leave the high-quality ones for his closest people and give the mid-quality ones to win people's hearts. It was simply perfect. Lu Yuan, it's time to eat. It's already dark. You've been refining for the entire afternoon. Why don't you refine again tomorrow? Just as Lu Yuan was pondering, Zhu Zhuqing's voice sounded. Lu Yuan turned around and saw Zhu Zhuqing holding a big bowl full of food in her hands. Zhuqing, where did the food come from? Lu Yuan looked at Zhu Zhuqing with some doubt. He had been refining pills all day and hadn't cooked. Where did the food come from? Could it be that Zhuqing cooked it herself? However, looking at the alluring color of the bowl and the fragrance that assailed his nostrils, Lu Yuan immediately dismissed this idea. Zhu Zhuqing's cooking was definitely not like this. Charcoal was her source of life. This was made by Elder Long, Zhu Zhuqing said. Elder Long has such culinary skills. Lu Yuan was a little surprised. This Long Xiaoyaro was usually quiet, but his culinary skills were not bad. Although he hadn't eaten yet, Lu Yuan had already experienced the color and aroma of the food. If the color and aroma were like this, then the taste wouldn't be too bad. Yes, I'm also a little surprised, Zhu Zhuqing said with a smile. The taste is pretty good. You'll know once you try it. Zhu Zhuqing picked up a piece of meat and brought it to Lu Yuan's mouth. Zhuqing, I'll do it myself, Lu Yuan said as he prepared to take the bowl from Zhu Zhuqing's hands. Let me feed you. You've taken care of me for so long in the past. When I was injured in the remnant of life, you were the one who fed me every day. However, I've never done anything for you. Now, let me feed you for once, Zhu Zhuqing said with a trace of determination in her eyes. All right then. Seeing how determined Zhu Zhuqing was, Lu Yuan didn't reject her. Furthermore, he had a better appetite with a beauty feeding him. After all, Zhu Zhuqing was a feast for the eyes. Just her looks alone were enough to whet his appetite. It's not bad. Lu Yuan ate the piece of meat that Zhu Zhuqing brought to his mouth and laughed. Yes, it's indeed very delicious. I've tried 2 pieces. It's hard to imagine that an ultimate Douluo like Elder Long has such good culinary skills. Furthermore, Elder Long seems to be reminiscing when he's cooking. Zhu Zhuqing picked up another piece of meat and brought it to Lu Yuan's mouth. Reminiscing? Lu Yuan's eyes flashed. He seemed to have thought of something and said, Elder Long might be thinking of someone he likes. After all, there are only 2 people who can make him reminisce. Elder Long has someone he likes. Zhu Zhuqing was interested. Of course. Elder Long likes someone called the death god Douluo, Yi Shishirai. She's also an ultimate Douluo like Elder Long, Lu Yuan said. Death god Douluo, Yi Shishirai? Zhu Zhuqing blinked. This was another name that she had never heard of. However, the identity of an ultimate Douluo piqued Zhu Zhuqing's curiosity. Zhu Zhuqing was especially interested in a female ultimate Douluo. Lu Yuan, can you tell me about Elder Long and Elder Yi's story? Zhu Zhuqing blinked her eyes. About that. Lu Yuan hesitated for a moment, then told Zhu Zhuqing what he knew, which was slightly modified from what he knew. Ah, Elder Yi Shishirai is so pitiful. After hearing about Yi Shishirai's plight, Zhu Zhuqing felt a little sympathetic. Although Yi Shishirai's personality changed drastically and she became an evil soul master, she couldn't bring herself to hate her. I don't know if Elder Long had a chance to be together with Elder Yi. According to what you said, Elder Yi has twin martial souls. Her second martial soul is the Radiant Phoenix. In that case, she should have a chance to break free from the influence of her first martial soul. After all, the Radiant Phoenix possesses the power of light. Zhu Zhuqing said. Perhaps. If they could be together, it would be a good thing. After all, Elder Long is quite lonely. Every time we get close to each other, Elder Long is actually quite awkward. Lu Yuan snickered. How can you still laugh? Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Lu Yuan and said, You said that Elder Yi Shishirai disappeared in the end. I wonder where she went. Chapter 356. I don't know about that. Lu Yuan shrugged and said. Yi Shishirei wasn't even in the Douluo world. If Long Xiaoyaro still had a chance to meet Yi Shishirei, it could only be if he signed in for the reward again. He had to sign in for the titled Douluo draw card from the last time, and he had to draw Yi Shishirei. This was his only chance. Furthermore, the reward was arranged by the system every time he signed in for the reward. Even if he obtained the titled Douluo draw card again, he might not be able to draw Yi Shishirei. The chances of that happening were pitifully small. However, Lu Yuan couldn't tell Zhu Zhuqing about the system. Hence, he told Zhu Zhuqing that Yi Shishirei had disappeared by herself, and Long Xiaoyaro couldn't find her. He was all alone. This was the best excuse he could give her now. Sigh, why can't two people who love each other like Elder Long and Elder Yi end up together? The heavens really make fools of people. Zhu Zhuqing sighed and said. There are many things in the world that don't go your way. It's not easy for two people who love each other to end up together. That's why we have to cherish the person in front of us. Lu Yuan smiled and said. Speaking of which, Long Xiaoyaro and Yi Shishirei did end up together in the original novel. However, it was a pity that both of them didn't end up well. Yes, you're right. Zhu Zhuqing smiled as she looked at Lu Yuan's handsome face. Then, she picked up some food and placed it in front of Lu Yuan's mouth. I'm finally done with all the pills. Lu Yuan stretched lazily. After 4 consecutive days of non-stop refining pills, he had finally completed the refinement of all the pills he needed. 4 bottles of soul-returning pills, 10 pills in each bottle, 6 bottles of body-tempering pills, 3 of which are of high quality, 5 pills in each bottle. 3 of which are of medium quality, 8 pills in each bottle. 6 bottles of qi-tempering pills, 3 of which are of high quality, 5 pills in each bottle. 3 of which are of medium quality, 10 pills in each bottle. 5 bottles of spirit-raising pills, 2 of which are of high quality, 5 pills in each bottle. 3 of which are of medium quality, 10 pills in each bottle. After carefully counting the pills, Lu Yuan nodded in satisfaction. This was the result of his 4 days of hard work. After 4 days of refining pills, the success rate of refining high-quality pills has increased a lot. However, I still haven't managed to refine a single pill of the best quality. Moreover, these pills are of lower quality. It seems that my alchemy skills are just at the entry level. There are still many things that I need to work hard on. Alchemy is indeed a very profound subject. However, with my entry speed, it can be considered quite fast. My talent in alchemy shouldn't be low, Lu Yuan murmured softly. But this alchemy is really tiring. Even with my mental strength, I still feel a little dizzy. Lu Yuan massaged his head. Concocting pills for such a long time was really something that consumed a lot of energy. Even with his current mental strength, he couldn't bear it. After all, alchemy required one to be completely focused and not have the slightest bit of carelessness. Otherwise, the furnace of pills was likely to be scrapped, and all efforts would be wasted. Therefore, when refining pills, one's mental strength was highly strained. For humans, mental strength was limited. It was fine if one's mental strength was strained for a short period of time. However, after a long period of time, people couldn't bear it. This wasn't the case for Lu Yuan's mental strength. After refining pills for 4 days, he felt a little dizzy. This was because he had used too much mental strength. Lu Yuan, are these all the pills? Zhu Zhuqing asked softly when she saw Lu Yuan counting the pills. Yes, the main ones are the soul-returning pills, body-tempering pills, qi-tempering pills, and spirit-raising pills. Take a bottle of each. These are all for you. Lu Yuan waved his hand and placed the 4 bottles of pills in Zhu Zhuqing's arms. Zhu Zhuqing hurriedly hugged them. The name of each pill is written on the outside. Right now, you are mainly taking the body-tempering pills and qi-tempering pills. Don't be in a hurry to take the spirit-raising pills. It won't be too late to take them when you become a soul ancestor. Right now, your task is to temper your body and polish your soul power. When your soul power is solid and your body is strong, I can give you that surprise. After you absorb that, Your fourth soul ring will be in the bag. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Lu Yuan, what is the surprise you were talking about? Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan with a puzzled expression. You'll know when the time comes. I guarantee that you'll be surprised. Right now, let me keep you in suspense, Lu Yuan said as he pinched Zhu Zhuqing's nose. All right. Zhu Zhuqing could only nod her head obediently and put the 4 bottles of pills into her soul tool. Zhuqing, your soul tool should only have 10 cubic meters of storage space, right? Lu Yuan asked as he looked at the ring in Zhu Zhuqing's hand. Yes. Zhu Zhuqing nodded her head. 10 cubic meters is too small. When I have the chance, I'll make a bigger storage space for you. I'm afraid 10 cubic meters won't be enough, Lu Yuan said. Is that so? Then I'll have to thank you, young Master Lu. Zhu Zhuqing smiled. You. Lu Yuan tapped Zhu Zhuqing's forehead and gently brushed her long hair. Zhuqing, we're going back to Heaven Do Imperial City, Lu Yuan said as he put all the pills on the ground into his astral ring. All right, I don't mind. Wherever you go, I'll follow you, Zhu Zhuqing said with a serious look on her face. When he heard this, Lu Yuan felt a little warm in his heart. He gently caressed Zhu Zhuqing's face before holding her hand. Elder Long, Lu Yuan called out softly. Master. Lu Yuan had just finished speaking when Long Xiaoyao's figure suddenly appeared. Things here have come to an end. We're going back to Heaven Do Imperial City. Go and inform Douluo Bo so that he can be prepared. Also, tell him to take good care of the herbs here. Tell him to be more careful. Don't let random people barge in and cause any damage here. The herbs here are very precious. Destroying any one of them will be a huge loss. When the Dragon King Hall is built, I'll send people to protect this place. This will be a secret realm that belongs to the Dragon King Hall. Furthermore, I've promised someone that I'll bring her here to take a look. Lu Yuan said plainly. Yes, Master, Long Xiaoyao said. All right, Elder Long. You can go first. I'll pick a few more herbs and put them in my astral ring. When you return, we'll set off for Heaven Do Imperial City. All right, Master. I'll take my leave then. Long Xiaoyao nodded his head before his figure flashed and disappeared. As he watched Long Xiaoyao leave, Lu Yuan started to pick some herbs that he could use and put them in his astral ring. Zhu Zhuqing followed beside him. After picking some herbs, Lu Yuan even filled jade bottles with spring water in his icefire yin-yang well. The extremely cold and hot spring water could sometimes be used as medicine. Not long after, when Lu Yuan was done, Long Xiaoyao returned. The few of them immediately got up and returned to Heaven Do Imperial City. Chapter 357. Is this the Blue Tyrant Academy? 4 figures stood quietly at the entrance of the Blue Tyrant Academy. There were 3 men and 1 woman. They were Lu Yuan's group. Lu Yuan said as he looked at the academy in front of him. Yes, I sent someone to find out about it. It shouldn't be wrong. Douluo Bo's voice sounded. Elder Douluo, what about the herbs in the icefire yin-yang well since you followed us here? Have you taken care of them? Don't let anyone destroy them. Lu Yuan said. Douluo Bo patted his chest and said confidently, Don't worry, Hallmaster. I've set up a few poison formations around the icefire yin-yang well to protect those herbs. Apart from titled Douluo, I'm sure no one can barge in. It's good that you're prepared. Don't let irrelevant people destroy the herbs. The losses outweigh the gains. After hearing Douluo Bo's words, Lu Yuan nodded and felt a lot more assured. Since Douluo Bo had said so, the poison formations must be very powerful. Apart from titled Douluo, it should be very difficult for others to barge in. How many titled Douluo were there in the entire Heaven Do Empire? Apart from the upper 3 sects, there was basically no one. Lu Yuan wasn't sure if there were any hidden sects. However, even if there were, they wouldn't appear in front of the public so easily since they were already hidden. Oh, yes. After I buy the Blue Tyrant Academy, I should be staying here for some time. Find some time to bring Douluo Yang here. I'll take a look at her condition and prescribe some medicine. After that, I'll also refine some pills for her. Lu Yuan said. I understand. Thank you, Hallmaster. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Douluo smiled. Since Lu Yuan had taken the initiative to mention it, it meant that he had taken this matter to heart. Douluo was naturally happy. Since Senior Douluo has joined the Dragon King Palace, we are a family now. You don't have to be so courteous. In the future, our Dragon King Palace will have two main industries. One is soul tools, and the other is pills. Soul tools require metals, and pills require herbs. I will have to trouble Senior Douluo with regards to the herbs. You have a great responsibility, Lu Yuan said. Thank you, Hallmaster, for putting me in such an important position. This old man will definitely do a good job. Douluo said in a clear voice, but after a while, his tone changed. Hallmaster, this old man has another question. Speak. Lu Yuan said. I'm not afraid that the Hallmaster will laugh at me. Although this old man has been using poisons all my life and knows a lot of medicinal herbs, there are many herbs that I don't recognize in the Icefire Yin-Yang Eye. I don't know how to take care of them, Douluo said with some shame on his face. That's simple. I'll give you 100 herbs record when we get back. I wrote it when I was free. You can basically recognize all the herbs on the Douluo continent if you follow it, Lu Yuan said. He had already expected this to happen. As the Dragon King Palace grew stronger, he couldn't do everything himself. Therefore, it was very necessary to nurture some people to work for him. As such, he was going to let Douluo be in charge of medicinal herbs. Thus, when he had some free time, he made some selections based on the Chrysanthemum Douluo's immortal herb collection and the complete pill Dao solution, and created his own 100 herbs collection. With this, the poison Douluo would be more than enough to take care of the herbs in the Icefire Yin-Yang Eye. Furthermore, the Icefire Yin-Yang Eye belonged to the Dragon Clan, and Douluo had tacitly agreed to let Lu Yuan occupy it. However, Douluo had lived there for a long time, and even if he didn't mind letting someone else take care of it, it was inevitable that he would feel uncomfortable over time. This was human nature. Therefore, it was better to let Douluo take care of it himself. Furthermore, the poison Douluo had some knowledge of herbs. He was very suitable to take care of it. It was killing two birds with one stone. Alright, since we're already at the entrance, let's go in first. I'd like to see what kind of demeanor Liu Erlong, who used to be the killing corner of the Golden Iron Triangle, has, Lu Yuan said calmly. Hello everyone, I'm the Academy's reception teacher. May I know what you're here for? Lu Yuan and the others had just stepped into the academy when a teacher came forward to welcome them. This was because Lu Yuan and the others' auras were too extraordinary. Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing didn't need to be mentioned. They were handsome and beautiful. Their clothes were low-key, but they were luxurious. Long Xiaoyaro was old, but he was very handsome. He seemed like a tall mountain that couldn't be looked up at as he stood there. However, he seemed to be at ease, as if he had returned to his original state. It was a very strange feeling. Ordinary people wouldn't feel anything when they saw him. However, upon closer inspection, they would realize that he was releasing an aura that could suppress heaven and earth. The most eye-catching person was Douluo. He was dressed in green, and he had an arrogant look on his face. He might have restrained himself in front of Lu Yuan, and his attitude was more proper. However, he was still a titled Douluo in front of others. He didn't restrain his aura at all. Anyone with the slightest discerning eye could tell that this was a big shot. After all, Douluo wasn't someone to be trifled with. In the original novel, he'd casually kicked everyone from Shrek Academy out of the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. The arrogance of a titled Douluo was vividly displayed on his body. Hence, this teacher from the Blue Tyrant Academy knew that Douluo was a big shot when he saw him. Furthermore, other than Douluo, Lu Yuan and the others also had extraordinary auras. He naturally didn't dare to slight them. We came to the Blue Tyrant Academy to discuss some things with Dean Liu Erlong. Can you lead the way? Lu Yuan asked the middle-aged teacher in front of him. This. The middle-aged teacher was a little hesitant. Our dean prefers peace and quiet. She usually doesn't meet outsiders unless there's something important. So, I'm sorry. If you don't have any urgent matters, I can bring you to see Teacher Sunday. Usually, when the dean isn't around, he's in charge of the academy's matters. If you have something to discuss, you can discuss it with Teacher Sunday, the middle-aged teacher said. Hee. Lu Yuan chuckled and pointed at Douluo. This is the poison Douluo, Senior Douluo. He also has something to discuss with your dean. Don't you think the poison Douluo's matter is considered a big matter? Just as Lu Yuan finished speaking, a green light surged from Douluo's body. His martial soul possessed his body. 9 soul rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 black appeared. That powerful aura caused the middle-aged teacher's hair to stand on end. His forehead was covered in cold sweat, and his legs went soft, causing him to almost fall. Lu Yuan was quick to react and held him up. The aura was withdrawn as soon as it was released. It came quickly and left quickly. With Lu Yuan's support, the middle-aged teacher steadied himself. However, his eyes were still filled with shock as he looked at Douluo. Chapter 358. Teacher, are you all right? Lu Yuan asked as he supported the middle-aged teacher's arm. I'm fine. Thank you for your help. The middle-aged teacher wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Lu Yuan retracted his outstretched hand and asked, Teacher, can you take us to see Dean Liu Erlong now? Of course. Please follow me. The middle-aged teacher led the way in front, but he still seemed to have some lingering fear. He seemed to be walking on air, and his legs seemed to be a little weak. You're so mean. Look at how scared he is, Zhu Zhuqing whispered into Lu Yuan's ear as she followed behind the middle-aged teacher. This is faster. I don't have that much time to waste. When we see Dean Liu Erlong, I'll give him 2 soul recovery pills as compensation for his mental trauma, Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. You still have some compassion. I thought you wouldn't care about him after bullying him, Zhu Zhuqing said. After hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Lu Yuan was both angry and amused. He flicked his finger at Zhu Zhuqing. What are you thinking, little girl? What kind of person do you think I am? Other than people who have irreconcilable conflicts with me, when have I ever bullied anyone for no reason? In all his years of doing things, he had never bullied anyone who didn't have a conflict with the Martial Soul Palace's goal of unifying the continent. After all, he couldn't bully anyone who didn't have a grudge against him. Other than that time when he set up Heaven Do Imperial Academy to help share, he only targeted Tangsan and Dai Mubai. After all, they were destined to be enemies with the Martial Soul Palace. He didn't even scheme against Grandmaster, whom Lu Yuan didn't like. As long as Grandmaster didn't provoke him, he couldn't be bothered to deal with him. Even when he had subdued Douluo, he had tried peaceful means before resorting to force. He had given Douluo enough. He had given Douluo a poison pill technique so that the jade-scaled snake lineage would no longer have to worry about being poisoned and could be passed down forever. This was much better than the jade-scaled snake bloodline in the original work. In the original novel, would Douluo still have the jade-scaled snake martial soul when he reached the 2nd level? No, it had long been lost. After all, his goal was to unify the continent and abolish slavery. How could he bully others for no reason? Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing snorted proudly and muttered, You said you don't bully others, but you bully me every day. Hey, it's you. Although Zhu Zhuqing's voice was soft, how could she hide it from Lu Yuan? He heard everything clearly and felt a little amused. This little kitten was really getting more and more jumpy these days. Her little temper had increased a lot, but he liked it. Squeezing Zhu Zhuqing's small hand, Lu Yuan and the other 3 followed behind the middle-aged teacher. As they walked, the 4 of them followed the middle-aged teacher into a small path. Following the path, they walked into the forest outside the main campus. Looking at the forest in front of them, Douluo couldn't help but ask, Why? Your dean doesn't live in the campus. Replying to your majesty, Our dean likes peace and quiet and lives alone in the forest. Teacher Sun is basically in charge of the academy's matters. Only major matters are decided by the dean, the middle-aged teacher said, his tone filled with respect for Liu Erlong. It seems like Liu Erlong's position in the hearts of these teachers is quite high. Hearing the middle-aged teacher's words, Lu Yuan thought to himself. One had to admit that Liu Erlong could be considered an extraordinary girl. She dared to love and hate. It was a pity that she fell in love with the wrong person. If the person she fell in love with back then wasn't the master but Flender, she would definitely be living a very happy life now. She wouldn't have waited for over 20 years, from a young girl to a middle-aged woman. Hearing the middle-aged teacher's words, Douluo nodded and didn't say anything else. The few of them followed the middle-aged teacher into the depths of the forest. After walking for a while, a simple wooden house entered their eyes. There were some flowers and plants beside the house, and a beautiful woman was holding a watering can. She was bending over slightly and watering the flowers and plants. It seemed like the group's footsteps had alarmed her. She turned her head and frowned slightly, looking in the direction of Lu Yuan and the others. Lu Yuan saw Liu Erlong with a single glance. She was a beautiful woman who looked to be in her 30s. Her beautiful face was slightly pale, and she didn't wear any makeup. However, it couldn't hide her exquisite appearance. She had a pair of big black eyes that were lively and full of vigor. Moreover, her mature and voluptuous figure was especially enchanting. Even though she was wearing the simplest green robe, it couldn't hide the shocking temptation she had for men. Even in Lu Yuan's eyes, Liu Erlong was a great beauty that was hard to come by. Her beauty naturally couldn't be compared to Bibidon and Jiu Yuana. There was still a gap. However, she could still be considered a top-notch existence. At least among the women that Lu Yuan had seen, there weren't many who could surpass her. It was no wonder that Flender had been thinking about her for more than 20 years. She really did have this charm. Stunned, Zhu Zhuqing's jade-like hand gently climbed onto Lu Yuan's waist. Her tone was cold. "What are you talking about? Do I look like the kind of person who has never seen a woman? She is indeed very beautiful, but compared to you and senior sister, she is still a little lacking." Lu Yuan said lightly. "And you are still young. In a few years, your figure will be better than hers." Lu Yuan whispered the last sentence in Zhu Zhuqing's ear. Pervert. Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful eyes glanced at Lu Yuan, but there was a trace of a smile on her face. As long as it was a woman, there was no woman who didn't like being praised for her beauty and good figure. Especially when this person was her lover. That kind of joy was beyond words. "Didn't you say not to disturb me? Why have you brought people here again?" Liu Erlong's voice was indifferent as she looked at the middle-aged man. She didn't seem to be in a very good mood. "President, these people have something important to discuss with you. This is the poison Douluo, and he is with them. I don't have the authority to make decisions, so I could only bring them here to see you." Oh! Liu Erlong's heart jolted upon hearing this. Why was this titled Douluo looking for her? She didn't seem to have offended this titled Douluo. Furthermore, this poison Douluo didn't seem to be the leader of this group. Instead, he was more like a follower. With that in mind, Liu Erlong's heart began to thump wildly. A titled Douluo as a follower? Looking at Lu Yuan, who was standing at the head of the table, Liu Erlong's eyes flickered. This young man seemed to be the leader. Then, for Douluo to follow behind him like a follower, who exactly was this young man? Chapter 359. Looking at the handsome Lu Yuan in the distance, Liu Erlong had to admit that in all her years of experience, this was the first time she had seen such an outstanding young man. Of course, this outstanding young man was mainly handsome. This young man was a little too handsome. He was so handsome that even she, who had given her heart to Yu Xiaogang, couldn't help but want to take a few more glances at him. It wasn't that she didn't love Yu Xiaogang. It was just that this young man was too tempting to any woman. If it were a young lady, this young man would probably be able to get his hands on her easily. Besides this young man, the young lady beside him was also shockingly beautiful. Her cold face was incomparably beautiful, and she exuded a cold aura. However, her figure was extremely hot. Liu Erlong was a little shocked when she saw this young lady's shocking figure. This young lady's figure wasn't inferior to hers. Furthermore, she didn't have that youthful vibe. Such a young lady would definitely be very popular with men. However, seeing how the two of them were holding hands, this young man and woman should be a couple. It had to be said that the man was handsome and the woman was beautiful. Together, they were a perfect match. However, Liu Erlong had seen the world. She was also a rank 78 soul sage. After taking a few glances, she retracted her gaze. "May I know what matter you have to discuss with me?" Liu Erlong asked faintly. Even though this group of people was clearly not ordinary, and there was even a titled Douluo like Douluo around, Liu Erlong had always been a bold person. She wasn't afraid, so she didn't express much of a welcoming attitude. "Haha, Dean Liu, do you want to discuss things here? Aren't you going to invite us over?" Lu Yuan chuckled as he spoke. "You're my guest. I didn't think it through. Please come in." Liu Erlong extended her hand and pointed at the wooden house as she spoke. Playing with the teacup in his hand, Lu Yuan softly said, "Although the furnishings of Dean Liu's wooden house are simple, there is an indescribable charm to it. It seems that Dean Liu also spent some effort on it. May I know this young man's name?" Looking at Lu Yuan, who was sitting opposite her, Liu Erlong's eyes flashed with some surprise, but she asked faintly. As for why he was surprised, this was because apart from Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing, the other two old men, including Douluo Bo, were all standing. Liu Erlong did not know the handsome black-clothed old man and did not know how powerful he was. However, judging from Douluo Bo's respect for him, he was also a titled Douluo. Furthermore, he might even be stronger than Douluo Bo. Two titled Douluo were standing behind this young man, and they seemed to be completely willing to do so. They didn't complain at all. What did this mean? This meant that this young man's identity was unexpectedly noble, and his background was perhaps even greater than she had imagined. "My surname is Lu and my name is Yuan. Beside me is my fiancé, Zhu Zhuqing," Lu Yuan said softly. "Fiancé? He said that I'm his fiancé?" After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing was secretly delighted. Her cold eyes rippled slightly, and she looked at Lu Yuan with some affection in her eyes. This was the first time Lu Yuan had openly announced her identity in front of outsiders. She was the last to follow Lu Yuan, but she was the only one who could always follow beside Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan was also very concerned about her. She was actually very satisfied. After hearing Lu Yuan admit that she was his fiancée so generously, Zhu Zhuqing was very happy. Perhaps she was the only one among Lu Yuan's women who could say it openly. After all, Lu Yuan's identity couldn't be exposed. Chihiro Snow and Hulena naturally couldn't be announced to the world either. As she thought until here, Zhu Zhuqing squinted her eyes. Although she couldn't break through the final step with Lu Yuan, and was one step behind the two of them, she was finally ahead in this aspect. "Miss Zhu is so beautiful. Young Master Lu is very fortunate." A look of envy flashed across Liu Erlong's eyes. Once upon a time, she also wished that she could interact so intimately with the person she liked. Unfortunately, that man had been hiding from her for more than 20 years after an unforeseen event. God knew how a woman like her withstood the pressure for 20 years. Thinking about it, Liu Erlong felt that these 20 years had been very difficult. "Ah, Xiaogang, where are you? Why haven't you come to see me for so many years? I really miss you." Liu Erlong sighed in her heart. But in the end, Lu Yuan and the others were here. Liu Erlong quickly gathered her emotions and said, "I wonder why young Master Lu is looking for me. It's nothing big. I just think that Blue Tyrant Academy isn't bad, so I want to buy it." Lu Yuan smiled faintly and said, "I wonder if Principal Liu can make it convenient for me." "What? You want to buy our Blue Tyrant Academy?" Liu Erlong's expression was a little surprised. She didn't think that Lu Yuan would come here to buy her Blue Tyrant Academy. She thought it was something else. However, she wouldn't sell Blue Tyrant Academy so easily. "I'm sorry, young Master Lu. I have no intention of selling Blue Tyrant Academy. Liu Erlong directly rejected. Principal Liu, you don't have to be in a hurry to reject. If you're worried that I won't take in any more commoners after buying Blue Tyrant Academy, you can rest assured. I admire the fact that Blue Tyrant Academy only takes in commoners. That's why I came to Principal Liu to buy it. I believe that in my hands, Blue Tyrant Academy will become even more prosperous. After all, Principal Liu, do you really have the heart to manage Blue Tyrant Academy? Lu Yuan said indifferently. What does young Master Lu mean by this? Hearing this, Liu Erlong frowned and asked. There's no other meaning. It's just that I've heard of the story of the Golden Iron Triangle. For example, at a certain wedding ceremony, a man immediately ran away after finding out that the bride was his sister, leaving a woman alone to wait for more than 20 years. I've heard of this before. It seems that the bride was called Liu Erlong. Don't you think so? Principal Liu. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. Bang! Liu Erlong slammed her palm on the table. Her long, shapely eyebrows were furrowed, and her beautiful eyes were filled with anger. She glared fiercely at Lu Yuan and forced out a sentence from between her teeth. Surnamed Lu, what do you mean by this? Are you mocking me? Audacious! How dare you be so impudent in front of the hall master? Seeing that Liu Erlong dared to question Lu Yuan like this and even slammed the table, Douluo immediately stood up. His powerful aura instantly pressed down on Liu Erlong's body. Liu Erlong's beautiful face instantly turned pale. Her body was on the verge of collapse, and sweat appeared on her forehead. One must know that this time wasn't like before. Douluo's pressure was fleeting. He was prepared to use his true strength. Chapter 360. How strong was a titled Douluo's aura? Generally speaking, even a rank 91 titled Douluo's aura could only be resisted by a Soul Douluo. Apart from exceptional geniuses, no one below Soul Douluo could fight back. Furthermore, Douluo's soul power was at rank 93. He wasn't someone that a soul sage like Liu Erlong could resist. Suddenly, Liu Erlong was on the verge of collapsing. Her pretty face was pale, and her red lips seemed to be bleeding because she was clenching her teeth. Seeing Liu Erlong like this, Lu Yuan hurriedly stopped her. Elder Douluo, please retract your aura. Lu Yuan admired Liu Erlong. Furthermore, Lu Yuan didn't like to use such a forceful method unless it was absolutely necessary. If he wanted to buy the Blue Tyrant Academy, he could do it in a roundabout way. He didn't have to use such a forceful method. After all, bullying a woman wasn't something to be proud of. It didn't fit Lu Yuan's character either. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Douluo snorted and retracted his aura. Once Douluo retracted his aura, Liu Erlong seemed to have lost all her strength. She collapsed onto the chair. However, even though she was collapsed on the chair, she was still glaring fiercely at Lu Yuan. After all, Lu Yuan's words had hit the weakest spot in her heart. That was also the most painful memory in her life. She loved her elder brother, who was related to her by blood. They were brother and sister. Ah, brother and sister. What a sarcastic word. Furthermore, Xiao Gang had been hiding for more than 20 years after that day. As a woman, she had resisted for more than 20 years. How much pressure did she have to withstand? Under such circumstances, Liu Erlong's heart was exceptionally sensitive. Therefore, she thought that Lu Yuan was mocking her when he mentioned it. She couldn't suppress the anger in her heart. After all, she had a violent personality. She almost exploded on the spot. Looking at the fierceness in Liu Erlong's eyes, Lu Yuan sighed in his heart. Sure enough, his idea was right. It was useless to force Liu Erlong. She had a bad temper and was a person who could be persuaded by reason but not cowed by force. Dean Liu, please don't be angry. I don't have any ill intentions, nor do I have any intention of making fun of you. On the contrary, I admire you very much. You are a truly extraordinary woman, Lu Yuan said from the bottom of his heart. Don't flatter me. I don't care. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, The fierceness in Liu Erlong's eyes gradually disappeared. Perhaps she was really too sensitive. I'm really not flattering you. You dare to fight for your feelings. You dare to love and hate. You don't care about how the world looks at you. You've protected your love for more than 20 years. Just this point alone makes 99% of the women in the world inferior to you. Therefore, I really don't have any intention of making fun of you. Lu Yuan's words were sincere. What I want to say is that since Dean Liu is so lovesick that you don't even have the heart to take care of the Academy's affairs, why don't you sell the Blue Tyrant Academy to me? I dare to guarantee you that the Blue Tyrant Academy will definitely develop better than it is now in my hands. Is that so? Liu Erlong gradually recovered. Her body was straight again. After all, she was a soul sage. Her recovery speed was very fast. Liu Erlong's eyes stared straight at Lu Yuan. However, I still won't agree to it. It's because I don't trust you. Why? Lu Yuan asked. I can tell that your identity is extraordinary just by looking at you. Furthermore, even a titled Douluo like Dugu Bo is accompanying you. You must be a top-tier noble. Would you be interested in an academy that only recruits commoners? If I sell the academy to you, I'm afraid you'll destroy it. It's not easy for commoners to find an academy to study in. I can't cut off their opportunity to study. After all, other than our academy, there's no other academy in Heaven-Do City that specifically recruits commoners. There are more academies like the Heaven-Do Imperial Academy that only recruit noble students. Even the 4 elemental academies recruit commoners, but the fees are ridiculously high. Ordinary commoners simply can't afford such high fees. If our academy disappears, many commoners will really lose their opportunity to study. Therefore, I can't agree to this request of yours. Hearing this, Lu Yuan revealed a bitter smile. He didn't expect Liu Erlong to reject him because of this. Zhu Qing, do I look like a noble? Lu Yuan looked at Zhu Zhuqing who was beside him. Very. Zhu Zhuqing nodded slightly. Yes. After hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, the 2 titled Douluo standing behind Lu Yuan nodded. They expressed that Zhu Zhuqing's words made sense. Hearing this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but size himself up. Indeed, regardless of whether it was the white robe woven from fine cloud silk, the purple jade cheline pendant on his waist, or the star ring on his finger, they were all things that commoners couldn't afford to wear. Furthermore, with his status, he was indeed one of the most elite nobles. Lu Yuan had no way to refute this. Dean Liu, I feel that you can't reject me just because of my status as a noble. Aren't you being too arbitrary? How about this, even if I buy the Blue Tyrant Academy, I'll still let you be the dean. You can see with your own eyes whether or not my methods and measures are beneficial to commoners. As long as you feel that I'm doing something wrong, you can immediately stop me. How about it? I'm saying this with enough sincerity, right? Lu Yuan said. Oh. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Liu Erlong looked at Lu Yuan curiously. Is he lying to me? Or is he really able to do this? Why don't I believe in nobles who think for commoners? One had to know that she was an exception. Although her father was the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect's Yu Luo crown, she was an illegitimate daughter. Her life wasn't much different from that of commoners. She was different from those nobles who came from sects. However, people like her were in the minority after all. Could this young man, who looked like a top-notch noble, really do something like this? Actually, Dean Liu, you don't have to worry. I'm different from those people from the Heaven-Do Imperial Academy. On the contrary, I hate them. Dean Liu, you've been in Heaven-Do Imperial City for so long. Don't you feel that the name Lu Yuan is a little familiar? I think 2 years ago, my name was quite famous in Heaven-Do Imperial City. Lu Yuan said. Lu Yuan. Liu Erlong muttered softly. Your name is indeed a little familiar, but I can't remember where I've heard it. Liu Erlong furrowed her brows. If you don't remember the name Lu Yuan, then I'm sure you'll remember another name. You've heard of the Dragon Emperor Douluo, Long Xiaoyaro, right? Chapter 361. The Dragon Emperor Douluo, Long Xiaoyao. Liu Erlong's eyes abruptly widened. This was a man who had once been extremely renowned in Heaven Do Imperial City. He could send a titled Douluo flying with a wave of his hand, and his aura could make 3 Sol Douluos kneel before him. Such a person would naturally attract the attention of many organizations. In comparison, Lu Yuan was Long Xiaoyao's master, but his reputation in Heaven Do Imperial City couldn't compare to Long Xiaoyao's. An ultimate Douluo's deterrence was unimaginable. This was especially true in the Douluo continent, where titled Douluo were the most powerful existences. A limit Douluo was basically the most powerful existence in the human world. Even the Heaven Do Imperial family had to give in to him. It was hard for others not to remember him. Even though Liu Erlong liked to be quiet and alone, she had heard of the Dragon Emperor Douluo's name before. Yes, this is the Dragon Emperor Douluo behind me, Elder Long, Lu Yuan smiled and said. Hiss. A look of astonishment flashed across Liu Erlong's eyes when she saw Long Xiaoyao behind Lu Yuan. No wonder this old man in black couldn't be ignored even though he didn't seem to stand out. Even Dugu Bo seemed to respect him. It turned out that he was the Dragon Emperor Douluo, who had been the talk of the town. He could make Dugu Bo vomit blood with a wave of his hand, so it was no wonder that Dugu Bo respected him so much. After all, he didn't dare to be disrespectful to someone who could easily crush Dugu Bo, no matter how arrogant he was. Furthermore, the Dragon Emperor Douluo was following him. Wasn't this young man's identity obvious? You're the Lu Yuan who caused havoc in the Heaven Do Imperial Academy? Liu Erlong looked at Lu Yuan with a look of understanding. No wonder this name sounded familiar. Lu Yuan was the Lu Yuan from back then, the Lu Yuan who had trampled the entire Heaven Do Imperial Academy. That's me. Lu Yuan immediately admitted when he saw that Liu Erlong had reacted. Dean Liu, this proves that I'm not on the same side as the Heaven Do Imperial Academy, right? Lu Yuan said. That's fine. After learning about Lu Yuan's past, the wariness in Liu Erlong's eyes lessened. She had a good impression of him. She didn't like the Heaven Do Imperial Academy either. The Heaven Do Imperial Academy was too decadent. Although things had gotten better with Xueqingha's management, the rule of only enrolling nobles hadn't changed. Liu Erlong still had a lot of complaints about this. Rumor had it that Lu Yuan had wreaked havoc in the Heaven Do Imperial Academy because the 4th prince of the Heaven Do Imperial family had bullied a commoner. Regardless of whether this rumor was true or not, at least it could be seen that Lu Yuan's attitude towards the commoners was more amiable, unlike other nobles who often looked down on them. Therefore, Liu Erlong believed a lot of Lu Yuan's words. Then Dean Liu, you don't have to worry about me having a bad opinion of commoners, right? I actually have a lot of goodwill towards them. Lu Yuan smiled. I heard you taught the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sects Yu Tianheng a lesson back at the Heaven Do Imperial Academy? Liu Erlong didn't answer. Instead, she asked Lu Yuan a question of her own. Yes. What? Do you want to get back at me for Yu Tianheng? If I recall correctly, even though Dean Liu is from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect, he doesn't seem to be on good terms with the sect, Lu Yuan said. You seem to know a lot about me. Liu Erlong said. Since I want to buy the Blue Tyrant Academy, I naturally have to do some research. I just so happen to know a little about you. Lu Yuan smiled. Is that so? Liu Erlong raised her beautiful eyes and scrutinized Lu Yuan. What? Why is Dean Liu looking at me like that? Is there something dirty on my face? Lu Yuan said. That's not it. Liu Erlong said. Although you're tall, you don't seem very old. However, your soul power rank is very high. You're truly a rare genius. It's no wonder you were able to defeat Yu Tianheng back then. If you want me to agree to your request, that's fine. Let's make a bet. Liu Erlong said. What bet? Lu Yuan asked. Since you're a genius and were able to defeat several soul ancestors and soul elders 2 years ago, you must be even stronger now. I won't say anything else. As long as you can force me to use my 5th soul skill, I'll agree to your request and sell the Blue Tyrant Academy to you. Liu Erlong said. Since she already knew that Lu Yuan was the same Lu Yuan from 2 years ago, Liu Erlong's worries were naturally put to rest. As long as Lu Yuan didn't mistreat the commoner students, selling the academy to him wasn't a big deal. After all, her thoughts weren't on the academy. In the original work, when Flender came, she also casually gave the position of dean to him without any reluctance. In Liu Erlong's heart, what she yearned for was love. This academy was nothing more than something she established to pass time when she was bored. At the same time, she also had the intention of helping the commoner students. As long as the commoner students could still enter the academy as usual, Liu Erlong didn't really care whether she was the dean or not. However, even though she didn't care much about it, she wouldn't sell the academy so easily. She wanted to see how powerful this legendary genius was. Only when his strength was recognized by her would she sell the academy to him. Otherwise, even if there were 2 titled Douluo, so what? She, Liu Erlong, wasn't afraid. Force you to use your 5th soul skill? Lu Yuan blinked his eyes, feeling a little amused in his heart. Let's change the terms of the bet, Lu Yuan said. What, are you afraid? Liu Erlong said indifferently. If Lu Yuan was really afraid and didn't even have the courage to fight, then she would look down on him in her heart. For some reason, she really hated those kinds of men who didn't have courage. Afraid? Dean Liu, you're looking down on me too much. What I mean is that forcing you to use your 5th soul skill is too easy. Let's change the terms of the bet. If I win, you'll sell the Blue Tyrant Academy to me. If I lose, then there's no need to say anything else. I'll just turn around and leave, Lu Yuan said. Brat, you seem to be a little too arrogant. A trace of displeasure flashed through Liu Erlong's eyes. For some reason, she didn't like those kind of cowardly men. However, at the same time, she also hated those kind of people who were arrogant. For example, Lu Yuan in front of her. Chapter 362. She was a rank 78 soul sage, and her martial soul was the Fire Dragon, a variant of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. Her attack was relatively strong. Although Lu Yuan's soul power was a little strange and shockingly condensed, she could clearly sense that he was only at rank 46. Whether or not he could force her to use her 5th soul skill was still a problem. Liu Erlong's impression of Lu Yuan became a little bad after hearing that he dared to boast that he could defeat her. He was indeed a genius, but his character was too arrogant. With her current soul power, she was at least as strong as a soul emperor even if she only used her 5th soul skill. This youth was only at rank 46. Even if he was a genius, he could only fight against a soul king. He was already a monster if he could threaten a soul emperor. If he could reach such a level, Liu Erlong had acknowledged him. However, Lu Yuan actually said that he could defeat her. Liu Erlong found this a little funny. He probably didn't know how strong a soul sage with a martial soul true body was. Arrogant. After hearing Liu Erlong's evaluation, Lu Yuan smiled faintly and said, Dean Liu, having strength is called confidence. Not having strength is called arrogance. I believe in my own strength. Is that so? Liu Erlong laughed coldly. Yes. Lu Yuan nodded and said, I heard that Dean Liu's martial soul is a fire dragon, right? It's a variant of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. It has mutated from lightning to flames. You know quite a lot. Liu Erlong admitted to Lu Yuan's words. Haha, a fire dragon martial soul. Interesting. Perhaps there's a surprise waiting for Dean Liu. Lu Yuan smiled, and his expression was a little mysterious. Fire dragon martial soul? Lu Yuan would let Liu Erlong know how powerless her fire dragon martial soul was in front of the golden dragon. To Lu Yuan, Liu Erlong's fire dragon martial soul was far less of a threat to him than Zhao Wuji, who was at rank 76, even though her soul power was at rank 78. This was because the suppression of the golden dragon martial soul was enough to let her know what cruelty was. What do you mean? Liu Erlong raised her brows. You'll know soon enough. Lu Yuan stood up. Since the bet has been set, let's begin. Let's not waste any more time. Since you're bent on losing, I'll satisfy you. Don't worry, I'll go easy on you, Liu Erlong said indifferently. Hee hee. Lu Yuan chuckled and walked out of the wooden house. Deep in the forest, Lu Yuan and Liu Erlong stood facing each other. There was a tinge of excitement in Lu Yuan's eyes. Ever since he had left Shrek Academy, he hadn't fought anyone for a long time. After all, his strength far surpassed his peers, and only those experts of the older generation could exchange blows with him. In Shrek Academy, there was Zhao Wuji, but after leaving Shrek Academy, there was no opponent to train with. Lu Yuan acknowledged Zhao Wuji, who was the closest to him in Shrek Academy. Otherwise, Lu Yuan wouldn't have given him the dark golden Terraclaw bear's soul bone. Although Zhao Wuji didn't have a good reputation, he was very loyal, and treated Lu Yuan well. Naturally, Lu Yuan wasn't someone who would be stingy with a soul bone. Thinking about it carefully, it had been a few months since he left Shrek Academy, and he hadn't fought much in these few months. To be honest, he was itching for a fight. The main reason was that there weren't any suitable opponents. Chihiro Snow and the others were too weak, while Long Xiaoyaro was too strong. Therefore, Lu Yuan could only suppress his desire to fight. Today, he met Liu Erlong, and could fight to his heart's content. As long as Lu Yuan didn't use his Polychoria, he could still fight Liu Erlong. Let's begin, Lu Yuan said indifferently as he looked at Liu Erlong. Kid, are you really not going to change the bet? Liu Erlong asked. There's no need for that, Lu Yuan said plainly. Golden light shone from his body, and his golden dragon martial soul attached to his body. Golden scales started to crawl on his arms, and his hands turned into sharp dragon claws. A pair of huge dragon wings also sprouted from Lu Yuan's back, and they flapped in the wind. A loud dragon's roar resonated in the forest, and 4 soul rings, yellow, purple, and black, rippled beneath Lu Yuan's body. A strong aura spread from Lu Yuan's body. A strong dragon's aura pressed down on Liu Erlong. What's this soul ring combination? Looking at the 4 soul rings shining on Lu Yuan's body, other than the first yellow soul ring, which was slightly more normal, the remaining 3 soul rings were each more unbelievable than the last. They were far beyond common sense. The second soul ring was a 1,000-year soul ring, and the third was a 10,000-year soul ring. Especially the 4th 10,000-year soul ring, which was as black as ink. The black color was so deep, which meant that the 10,000-year soul ring was very old. It seemed to be even darker than her 7th soul ring. One had to know that her 7th soul ring was at least 40,000 years old, which was even older than her 7th soul ring. Didn't that mean that this kid's 4th soul ring was at least 50,000 years old? Oh my god, what kind of freak is he? No wonder this kid was so arrogant. Now it seemed like it wasn't arrogance, but confidence in his own strength. Furthermore, this strong aura was suppressing her. Liu Erlong frowned. She felt a little uncomfortable. This aura was actually suppressing the fire dragon martial soul in her body. Her martial soul actually felt like it wanted to crawl. However, Liu Erlong was still very strong. She forcefully suppressed this throbbing feeling, but her beautiful face carried a trace of seriousness. Martial soul possession. Liu Erlong let out a low roar, and a dragon's roar also sounded. Red scales climbed onto Liu Erlong's body, and waves of flames were released. The air seemed to be scorching hot, and 7 soul rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, and black, were released from Liu Erlong's body. Similarly, a strong aura was released and resisted Lu Yuan's golden dragon's aura. Heh, using your advantage in soul power to resist. Liu Erlong's fire dragon martial soul's flames seemed to wilt when it faced the golden dragon. It was obvious that it was being suppressed. However, Liu Erlong forcefully resisted. Apart from using her soul power, which was more than 30 ranks higher than Lu Yuan's, there was no other way. After all, Liu Erlong was a soul sage. Her rank was much higher than Lu Yuan's. It was unrealistic to expect her to crawl on the ground like Yu Tianheng did back then. Furthermore, Lu Yuan had only used his golden dragon martial soul earlier. He hadn't even activated his golden dragon bloodline. It was normal for his attack to be resisted. Golden light flashed in his hand, and the golden dragon spear appeared in his hand. Lu Yuan stomped his right foot on the ground, and a huge crater appeared in the muddy ground of the forest. The golden dragon spear shone with a sharp light as it pierced towards Liu Erlong. Since Liu Erlong didn't want to make the first move, he would let her. Be careful, Dean Liu. Spear technique, vast ocean. The golden dragon spear stabbed out, and the sound of rolling waves could be heard. Before the spear arrived, a torrential aura was already released. It seemed that he was not arrogant, but she had underestimated him. Fourth soul skill, bloodthirsty flames. Liu Erlong's fire dragon martial soul let out a loud dragon roar and released a strong dragon flame in front of her. The released dragon flame formed a wave of air that attacked Lu Yuan. Faced with the surging dragon flame, Lu Yuan smiled faintly. It was a fire attack. What a coincidence, he seemed to be immune to fire. Lu Yuan, be careful. Following Zhu Zhuqing's scream, the rolling flames engulfed Lu Yuan and burned fiercely. Rascal. Seeing that Lu Yuan didn't resist in the slightest, Liu Erlong was shocked. The power of her attack was tyrannical. Could something have happened to this kid? Lu Yuan. Zhu Zhuqing was anxious. She did not know that Lu Yuan had the ability to be immune to fire. As the time was too rushed, Lu Yuan forgot to mention it. Therefore, seeing Lu Yuan being engulfed by the flames, Zhu Zhuqing was very anxious. Mistress, don't worry. Master is fine. He has the ability to be immune to fire. Through the raging flames, Long Xiaoyao could see that Lu Yuan was unharmed. Even his sleeve was not damaged. He recalled that his master had eaten the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot. Evidently, Lu Yuan had obtained the ability to be immune to fire and ice. The flames gradually dissipated, and Lu Yuan's figure was revealed. He held the golden dragon spear in his hand and walked forward gently. When he saw Liu Erlong's stunned expression, he smiled faintly. Dean Liu, I forgot to tell you that I have the ability to be immune to fire. Therefore, fire attacks can't hurt me. Hearing this, Liu Erlong's face turned black. Her martial soul was a fire dragon, and she was also a fire-type soul master. Without the ability to attack with fire, her abilities would be greatly reduced. It would be strange if her expression was pleasant. This was the same as when Tang San heard that Lu Yuan was immune to all control-type skills. He felt as if he had accidentally swallowed a fly. Huff. Seeing that Lu Yuan was fine, Zhu Zhuqing heaved a sigh of relief. She couldn't help but curse Lu Yuan in her heart. This rascal always liked to do things that left her on tenterhooks. Dean Liu, let's continue. Lu Yuan stepped forward, and his golden dragon spear swept horizontally towards Liu Erlong. Liu Erlong also channeled her soul power, and her body advanced rapidly. Even if she didn't use her fire-type abilities, her attacks weren't weak. Her martial soul was a fire dragon, after all. The physical bodies of dragons were very strong. Fourth soul skill, golden dragon roar. After forcing Liu Erlong back with a punch, Lu Yuan opened his mouth, and a deafening dragon roar reverberated through the entire forest. Streaks and streaks of golden ripples crushed towards Liu Erlong. Golden dragon roar, a powerful soul skill from a 60,000-year soul ring. Fifth soul skill, soaring flames. His remaining fifth soul ring suddenly lit up, and layers of scorching flames began to surge around Liu Erlong's body. These flames quickly rotated, forming a powerful energy vortex. Not only could this vortex be used to attack enemies, but it also had a scorching effect. At the same time, it could also be used for defense, and it was a very rare skill. Even though the flames couldn't harm Lu Yuan, they could still be used to defend against his golden dragon roar. The sound waves from the golden dragon roar were imbued with enormous energy as they hurtled toward Liu Erlong, clashing directly with the vortex of dragon flames around her. The sound waves clashed directly with the vortex of flames, and streaks of dragon flames were torn apart before scattering in all directions. It was as if a rain of fire were falling from the sky, creating a very spectacular scene. Zhu Zhuqing clasped her hands tightly over her ears. This golden dragon roar was simply far too ear-piercing. Even though she was quite a distance away from the two of them, The sound was still rather unbearable to her ears. Lu Yuan opened his mouth wide, and sound waves erupted from his mouth, surging toward Liu Erlong in an unending stream. Liu Erlong also increased her soul power, and streaks of dragon flames began to revolve in a frenzy, resisting the golden dragon roar's sound waves without backing down. Bursts of energy fluctuations immediately proliferated through the air, and everything in the surrounding area was instantly torn to shreds. Bits of grass and dirt flew through the air. Chapter 364. The Hallmaster is indeed quite strong. Douluo Bo couldn't help but exclaim as he watched the two of them in a stalemate. Lu Yuan was rank 47, while Liu Erlong was rank 78. There was a gap of around 30 ranks between them, but Lu Yuan's 4th soul skill and Liu Erlong's 5th soul skill were still in a stalemate. Furthermore, the Hallmaster seemed to be in an advantageous position, and Liu Erlong's dragon flame vortex seemed to be unable to hold on any longer. Roar! Lu Yuan let out a loud dragon's roar into the sky. The sound waves from the golden dragon roar tore through the defenses of the dragon flame vortex, and the remaining sound waves surged toward Liu Erlong. 6th soul skill, explosive fiery dragon. In the face of the remaining sound waves, Liu Erlong's expression remained unchanged, and her 6th black soul ring flashed with a dark light. Liu Erlong's figure flashed quickly, and scorching fiery energy gathered on her fist as it clashed with the remaining golden dragon roar. Bam! Flames flew everywhere, and Liu Erlong charged out of the sound waves. She wasn't completely unscathed even after forcefully resisting the golden dragon roar. Her face was slightly pale, and her breathing was erratic. Her chest was rising and falling rapidly, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of her lips. It was clear that she had sustained some injuries from the sound waves. Liu Erlong was very quick, and she was already beside Lu Yuan in an instant. Her fist was filled with abnormally solid dragon flame, and she punched it toward Lu Yuan's chest. Lu Yuan's eyes flashed, and he punched out with his left fist. Sky-raising peak. This was a soul bone skill from the sky-raising demonic ape's left palm bone. Bam! The two fists collided. The immense strength of the sky-raising peak forced Liu Erlong back, but Lu Yuan was also forced back a few steps. There were traces of blood on his fist, and there were traces of scorch marks on his left sleeve. An explosive energy attack. Looking at the traces of blood flowing out of his left hand, Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly. He did not expect that Liu Erlong's punch would actually compress the flames to the extreme and then suddenly erupt. He was caught off guard and was injured for a moment. If it wasn't for the heaven-supporting palm bone in his left hand would have been seriously injured by this burst of energy. He had underestimated his opponent. He had actually forgotten that although he was immune to fire attacks, if the flames were condensed to the extreme, they would burst out with a powerful energy attack, and he would not be immune to it. He didn't expect Liu Erlong to be able to think of this in such a short time. Sure enough, these older generation experts had rich combat experience. Their ability to adapt when facing an enemy wasn't something that the younger generation could compare with. It was better for him to fight seriously. As the esoteric character circulated, the injury on Lu Yuan's left hand healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. With regards to the esoteric character, even if Lu Yuan did not have a deep understanding of it, injuries like this could still be quickly healed. Interesting. Lu Yuan stabbed his golden dragon spear into the ground beside him before clenching his fists tightly as he charged toward Liu Erlong again. Seeing as Liu Erlong wanted to engage in a brawl like this, he couldn't afford to fall behind. Mountain-splitting sea-overturning technique. Lu Yuan punched out with his fist, which was mixed with vigorous energy. At the same time, Lu Yuan activated his first and second soul skills at the same time, and his aura suddenly rose. Bang! Their fists collided once again, and the sound of an energy explosion could be heard. Lu Yuan's hand was filled with golden light, and his body moved quickly. He grabbed Liu Erlong's fist, which she hadn't retracted in time, and pulled forcefully. This pull carried more than 70,000 kilograms of force, and Liu Erlong couldn't withstand it at all. Her body was pulled in front of Lu Yuan. Hua Yuhao punched Liu Erlong's stomach with his left fist, and Liu Erlong was sent flying. She spat out a mouthful of blood in mid-air. In this fight, Liu Yuan didn't show mercy to Liu Erlong because she was a woman. This was because Liu Erlong's attacks were too explosive. She lived up to her reputation as the killing horn of the Golden Iron Triangle. If Liu Yuan showed mercy, he would have been the one injured if he wasn't careful. Liu Yuan patted the black fist mark on his chest, which was left behind by Liu Erlong. He had to take a few punches in a head-on clash. However, his physical body was as strong as a soul Douluo's, so he wasn't injured. It was just that Liu Erlong had been punched in the stomach by Liu Yuan, and her injuries were probably not light. After all, she had spat out blood. Liu Yuan didn't chase after Liu Erlong as she was injured and retreating. Liu Erlong had basically used all her skills, but she wasn't his match. If she wanted to win, there was only one way, and that was to use her seventh soul skill, Martial Soul True Body. At this stage, Liu Erlong should be using it. The real fight was about to begin. Roar! An earth-shattering dragon roar resounded, and balls of flames burned fiercely in the air. Liu Erlong's figure had already disappeared from where she landed, and a flaming dragon with a pair of wings on its back appeared before Liu Yuan's eyes. Liu Erlong's fire dragon true body was more than 10 meters long. It circled in the air and let out dragon roars. Suddenly, the fire dragon turned around, and its ferocious dragon head pounced towards Liu Yuan. Liu Yuan's eyes narrowed as he sensed the immense pressure from the fire dragon. His eyes flickered with excitement. The real fight was about to begin. Golden Dragon Armor, attach. Golden light flashed, and the golden armor with icy blue and fire-red cloud patterns enveloped Liu Yuan's entire body. Suddenly, Liu Yuan's aura became stronger. Golden Dragon Bloodline, activate. As he donned the Golden Dragon armor, Liu Yuan also activated his Golden Dragon Bloodline, which he had never used before. With the support of his Golden Dragon Bloodline, Liu Yuan's Golden Dragon aura became stronger and stronger. Golden Dragon Spear, come. Liu Yuan stretched out his hand, and the Golden Dragon Spear appeared in his hand. When Liu Erlong was in her human form, he could fight her head-on. However, she was in her martial soul true body state now, and the Golden Dragon Spear was still needed. I want to see if I can defeat a soul sage without using my Polychoria. Liu Yuan's Polychoria flashed with a dazzling radiance. His Polychoria and Godslayer Spear were his greatest trump cards. With them, defeating a soul sage would be a piece of cake. However, what if he didn't use them? Could he still defeat a soul sage? Liu Yuan wanted to see if he could defeat a soul sage with his current abilities. After all, he couldn't always rely on his Polychoria. He had to become stronger. Let's fight. The two pairs of golden dragon wings on his back flapped. Liu Yuan's figure flashed, and he flew into the air. To be honest, he didn't fight much in the air. Spear technique, Falling Star. Liu Yuan stabbed down with his spear. The tip of the golden dragon spear flashed with silver light. After the second style of his self-created spear technique, Jihan Hai, he would use Falling Star. When he stabbed out with his spear, it was as if there were stars flashing in the sky. Silver light sprinkled down, and Liu Yuan's figure rapidly charged towards the spiraling fire dragon. Chapter 365. Meteors were meteors, and it was said that every meteor that fell from the sky represented the loss of a life. Meteors streaked across the sky, and even though they only lasted for a brief moment, they were extremely dazzling and radiant. Spear technique. Meteor was as swift as a meteor, but it was extremely powerful. This spear technique contained Liu Yuan's soul power, blood essence power, spiritual power, and spear intent, which was growing stronger and stronger. It represented the highest standard that Liu Yuan had reached in the way of the spear. Meteor's power naturally far exceeded that of Vast Ocean. If spear technique, Vast Ocean was Liu Yuan's summary and understanding of the Vast Ocean spear technique, then spear technique, Meteor was a product of Liu Yuan's advancement in the way of the spear. This was the first spear technique that Liu Yuan had truly broken free from the influence of his original spear technique, and he had created it on his own. Faced with Lu Yuan's strike, which was as dazzling as a star, Liu Erlong's fire dragon roared as it extended its huge dragon claws. Boom! Flames surged and exploded, and Lu Yuan was sent flying for more than 10 meters before he managed to stabilize himself with the help of his dragon wings. There was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, and there was a grave look in Lu Yuan's eyes. What a powerful martial soul true body, Lu Yuan couldn't help but mutter to himself. It was no wonder that martial soul true bodies were considered the most important skill of a soul master. A soul master's abilities would be greatly enhanced in all aspects when they were in martial soul true bodies. Right now, Liu Erlong was at least 3 times stronger than when she was in her human form. Even Meteor, which he was so proud of, didn't have much of an effect on her. There was a wound on the fire dragon's body that was left behind by the golden dragon spear. However, the wound wasn't very serious, and it didn't affect Liu Erlong's fighting strength much. Meteor did injure Liu Erlong in her martial soul true body state, but it was only an injury. Furthermore, he was also injured by Liu Erlong's counterattack. Liu Erlong's martial soul true body was actually able to injure him, whose physique was comparable to a soul Douluo's. Her martial soul true body's offensive strength was truly formidable. After being wounded by the golden dragon spear, Liu Erlong threw her head back and roared into the sky. Her body swayed as she lashed her massive dragon tail toward Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan flapped his wings and dodged the attack. He channeled his soul power and bloodline to attack Liu Erlong. This time, Lu Yuan no longer suppressed his strength. He released the strength of 90,000 kilograms without reservation. Moreover, the aura of his bloodline was also emitted without restraint. In the sky, a small golden figure was colliding violently with a fire dragon that was more than 10 meters long. My lord is getting stronger and stronger. Even without using his polychoria, he can still clash so intensely with a Class 78 Soul Sage who has activated his martial soul true body. It seems like they are evenly matched. My lord is improving very quickly. Long Xiaoyaro sighed as he watched the battle in the sky. Even though Liu Erlong's martial soul is suppressed by my lord's martial soul and bloodline, and she can't unleash her full strength, my lord's fighting strength is very strong. That's an undeniable fact. Yes. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. As she watched Lu Yuan fighting in the sky, her eyes were filled with extraordinary splendor. This was her man, a true prodigy. Even though he was young, his abilities weren't inferior to some of the older generation of soul masters. When Lu Yuan had just left Shrek Academy, he had to rely on his polychoria to defeat Zhao Wuji. However, even without his polychoria, he could still fight Zhao Wuji one-on-one. The battle with Liu Erlong in the sky was the best proof. Even though Liu Erlong's martial soul was suppressed, her offensive strength was much stronger than Zhao Wuji's. After all, a martial soul from the Dragon Clan was still a martial soul from the Dragon Clan. Even though it was a fire dragon, it was still stronger than Zhao Wuji's Vajra bear. It had to be said that a martial soul from the Dragon Clan was very strong. Douluo Bo watched the battle in the sky with a deep look in his eyes. Lu Yuan's strength had exceeded his expectations. Even with his experience as a titled Douluo, he had never seen such a genius before. Not only was his cultivation talent shocking, he had reached rank 46 at the age of 12. His combination of soul rings was also extraordinary. He was only a soul ancestor, but he already had 2 10,000-year soul rings. It was shocking. What astonished Douluo Bo the most was that Lu Yuan was fighting a soul sage who had activated his martial soul true body. He wasn't at a disadvantage at all. This really astonished Douluo Bo. Someone like Lu Yuan couldn't be described as a genius anymore. Perhaps even a monster wasn't worthy of him. It seems like I have to bring Yang Yang over as soon as possible. Douluo Bo thought to himself, it'll be a pity if I miss out on such a young talent like the Hall Master. Compared to the Hall Master, Yu Tianheng isn't even fit to carry his shoes. If Yang Yang can be with the Hall Master, it'll be worth it even if she becomes his concubine. Furthermore, I have to get Yang Yang to withdraw from the Heaven Do Imperial Academy as soon as possible so that she can join the Blue Tyrant Academy. Given how much the Hall Master values this academy, he'll definitely stay here often. As long as Yang Yang interacts with the Hall Master for a long time, I'm not afraid that the Hall Master won't be moved by her beauty. After all, females from the jade-scaled snake bloodline are very enchanting. What's more, a dragon's nature is natural. The Palace Master's dragon bloodline is so thick and pure, so his needs in that area must be very great. The girl in front of me is still young, and it seems that the Palace Master hasn't touched her yet. As long as Yang Yang comes and takes the initiative to get close to the Palace Master, young people are full of vigor. As long as the rice is cooked, the matter will be settled. Douluo Bo's mind was spinning. Zhu Zhuqing suddenly paused. She didn't know why, but her intuition told her that someone was thinking bad things about her. However, she didn't have any proof and didn't know who it was. If Zhu Zhuqing knew what Douluo Bo was thinking just now, she might even have the thought of chopping Douluo Bo into pieces. In the sky, Lu Yuan and Liu Erlong clashed again. Lu Yuan was pushed back several meters. He flapped his dragon wings and stabilized himself. At the same time, he released a powerful attack. Dusk Gold Dread Claw. 5 razor-sharp claws suddenly extended from Lu Yuan's right hand. The claws flickered with icy blue and fiery red colors. He waved the claws in the air, and a 3-meter-long energy claw swiped at Liu Erlong. Whoosh! The Dusk Gold Dreadclaw collided with Liu Erlong's fire dragon form. Sparks flew in all directions and scales exploded. 5 conspicuous claw marks were left on the fire dragon's body. Blood flowed out, and the fire dragon let out a mournful roar. Unsettled storm. The golden dragon spear swept a circle through the air, and a golden halo enshrouded the fire dragon's body. The fire dragon's body immediately stiffened, and it was completely immobilized as it plummeted from the sky. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,